Welcome, guys. Welcome. So, just welcome to the this pretty much a one-off video. Actually, it was a full preview now of Field of Glory Kingdoms, which is I've just got my grubby hands on, which is great. So we've sort of had like a press version. Hang on, I'm having technical issues. Let me try to figure out what's going on here. Here we go. Here we go. I'll just go back out. Right, so Field of Glory Kingdoms. We've actually now got I guess a preview of the final build. And please ask questions as you're playing the game. Sorry, not as you're playing the game, as you're watching the game. I'll have to try to figure out where to place my my avatar, my face, just so that it sort of is out of the way, because there's a lot on the screen. This corner's the best way. Anyway, we'll figure out that as we get into it as well. So Field of Glory Kingdoms, and again, I've got a few little apologies to make. One apology is that I have been threatening to actually do a like live streams of the back on Twitch, and I haven't done as many as I would like. I've been extremely time poor at the moment. I've had very little time, and I'm trying to sort of juggle my time between YouTube and Twitch for my online time. But unfortunately, Twitch has taken a bit of a back seat to YouTube, and also I've had a few commissions and things like that I've needed to do with some live streams as well. So I've sort of been caught up. And unfortunately, the Twitch channel for the last couple of weeks has suffered a bit. And so I do apologise particularly if you're waiting for the Dominion 6 Warhammer series, which I'm playing over on Twitch. I will be getting back to that. I do want to actually do an announcement here as well. So one of the things I do want to make an announcement about is that basically there is I wanted to do a video showing this incredible mod for Dominion 6, which I've been playing on Twitch. Absolutely mind-blowing how good it is. So we'll do some content here on YouTube about that as well. But that Twitch series will continue, but it may be next week. I may play that a lot during the Warhammer Skulls week. I've sort of got my Warhammer Skulls kit. I sort of covered that in Chat Tactic a couple of days ago now. So anyway, that's get those announcements out of the way. Now, hi Jerry, how are you going? Jerry's saying, once you start playing, a question in regard to decision, do you think selling decision is the right path? Won't break the game, as in selling your buildings or getting rid of your buildings. Jerry's saying, I always thought that maybe decision could change like every 10 turns. Let's say your thoughts. I'm not really understanding the question. It's only 1 a.m. here for me. I've only just woken up, so I'm going to be pretty tired. I'm going to need to. You're going to need to spell things out. Decisions that you get, not buildings. Oh, okay. Look, I'll go through all that because there's certainly some changes. If you're used to playing empires, this has got some streamlined changes to it, plus a whole lot of extra stuff as well. So some of the stuff has been, my head immediately goes to dumbed down, but it's not dumbed down at all. It's just different, but makes more sense. So it's more intuitive to play this game as opposed to empires. But things, for example, like the different decisions that you do get. And if you mean like the regional decisions, yeah, you absolutely sell them off because the ones that you're not going to be using. I'll show you what I mean. Let's just get into the actual game itself, because now I can show the whole game off. So we'll definitely get into the nitty-gritty of the actual of the turns themselves. So again, we've sort of got like scenarios. We've got multiplayer or loading, and multiplayer. So you do actually have these three buttons here on the front. Just go into scenarios. We now see the full gamut of what's going to come at launch, which is fantastic. So we've got like previously, all I could show you was the El Cid campaign and the Fall of the Angevins, but we now actually have Manzikert back and through here, and also the Grand Campaign, which is really the meat and potatoes of the game itself. In my last video, I had made a comment that the Grand Campaign had more randomization in the trade goods. I think that I may be wrong about that. I did a bit of a test to see if that was the case. So Sean Parsons is saying, is this like CK3? No, it's not. And this is the interesting thing about the game. It's going to be compared to CK3 enormously. This is not Crusader Kings 3, this is not Total War Medieval, or Medieval Total War. It's neither of those two games. It's not even really in between those two games. It is a full medieval simulator running underneath everything. So much of a simulator that you don't even know a lot of the stuff that's going on in terms of its simulation, and then you have a layer above where you control it more broadly than in CK3. CK3, all you're doing is really just managing a dynasty, and so you're managing the people, and so the fighting is largely abstracted. The what else is there? You've got the fighting abstracted. You've got, like, essentially even the way that everything sort of is run in the countries is sort of very limited. In this case, the more you scratch through the surface of this game, I think you'll be really, really surprised at the interplay of the different mechanics. But I will actually point out that the actual interaction with the people, even though it's important, is nothing at all like Crusader Kings 3. So if you're looking for like a dynasty game, and like there's a lot of dynasty games that have come out in recent years which have been very, very good. And Crusader Kings 3 is a dynasty game. You've also got the space, like different space ones as well, like, you know, that feel very much like playing Dune as an example, with different sorts of games in that sort of genre. In this one, you are managing a dynasty, you are managing a family, but the decisions you make in that regard are minimal in comparison to Crusader Kings 3. This game is much, much broader in all the other aspects, if you get what I mean. In terms of a game like Medieval Total War, it's not a real-time game at all. The battles are, like, there's no real-time battle. You can export the battles out into the Field of Glory tabletop type system and play them out there, which is very, very enjoyable. I got to say, I really enjoy that. And then you've got a whole lot of other, you know, like, so essentially it's just, but really at the heart of it, it's just an incredible medieval simulator. Hi ZXM, how are you going? So Jerry's saying, but if you keep selling, won't it break the game and make it too easy to acquiring money? That's honestly my only concern with the game. No, look, the money, it's sort of funny. Like, it's one of these things where it's not just money that you get. You get all sorts of different things when you do sell those regional decisions, but when you sell them, it means you can't use them. So if you can't use them, yeah, sell them, because like if you don't have a use for them, well, I'll show you that in detail when we get into the actual game itself, because we'll need to look at that pretty early on in the game anyway. I might just quickly show you the Manzikert scenario, because I know a lot of people actually really like the Byzantine Empire, particularly probably, you know, in the lead up to this time period. So, you know, really in this time period, they're just trying to hold on. And this is just a 20-year campaign from 1059 through to 1079. And then we'll come back and look at the Grand Campaign after that, and probably play the Grand Campaign. So I've got to Manzikert, so 40-turn scenario, ideal for 1 to 3 players. One thing you'll notice as well, by the way, like, you're looking at 20 turns there, which means that these turns are, there's 6-month turns. Some of the other ones, I think that this one goes from 10. That's 10 years. Actually, that's also, there's actually more than, this is wrong. This is actually a bug, because it does go further than the 20 turns. The scenarios can have different time frames. Like, they can be seasonal, which I think is what the El Cid one is. El Cid's either got 3 periods per year or 4. I can't remember which. Manzikert, I haven't played it, but this one here is around the Byzantine, the fall of the Byzantine Empire, I guess, or, you know, certainly their struggles in around 1059. So if we go and have a look at that one, I'll just open that one up so you can have a quick look. Look, as far as your management of your resources is concerned, one of the really interesting things about this game is if you do have a glut of money, it basically means that you're going to end up relying very heavily on mercenaries. If you have, if you don't have a lot of money, but you've got a lot of manpower or whatever else there might actually be, you'll be relying on other things as well. So the game balances itself out very, very well in that sort of sense. So here we are. This is like the Byzantine Empire. You've got six playable factions that you can play from. So you've got Byzantines, the Seljuks back over through here, the Fatimids down in Egypt, and so they're going to be the major factions that you'd be wanting to sort of then play with on this particular map. And so this is essentially, I guess, the Byzantines trying to protect themselves. You've got Croatia back up this way as well, and it'll tell you sort of like if there's any, who's working with who. Apulia, and so back in southern Italy, back over this other side as well, and also then you've got Georgia back over here, which is sort of like is working cooperatively with the Byzantines, and then you're going to have a whole lot of other smaller factions in here as well. So this is like a more of a cut down scenario. I actually really love that they're doing this with these little scenarios, because it is very, very contained. But when you do play the base game, it's again, you are a bit like Crusader Kings. You are really just focused in one small region, and then sort of things will be happening all around you. So in that sense, this is very much like Crusader Kings 3. But I think that the overall simulation is richer and deeper with the trades and stuff like that, in my opinion. It's weaker in terms of the dynasty, but stronger in terms of the actual overall simulation of the empires. Anyway, let's just get back out of that one. And we'll look at the Grand Campaign. So in we go. So Medieval Kingdoms Grand Campaign. So this one goes from 1054 to 1274. So 440 turns. Which is that one? Yeah, so it looks like it's complexity 4 out of 5, length 5 out of 5. So embark on a epic 440 turn journey across the full map, suitable for 1 to 16 players, because you can play them multiplayer. I think this would be a hard slog, to be honest, playing this one as a multiplayer game. Yep. So choose from numerous nations, each with its own challenges and opportunities. Brace yourself for the unexpected as you navigate through the twists and turns of medieval history. The path to glory is fraught with peril, but those who are brave and resourceful enough will reap the rewards. Will you be the one to emerge victorious from the chaos of medieval Europe? And so I might just ramp the difficulty up. I haven't tested the difficulty much, so I will actually just make it experienced. I've only been playing it on balance just to test it out. But let's actually ramp it up to experienced. And here we go. So this is the full map. This is the stuff that I think people will be excited to see in terms of the scope of what the game actually is. Now it's not it's based on history, but essentially anything can happen, really. Like, and it's not going to be wildly out of context, but it's but it is it is going to, you can change history, not easily, but you can change history in this game. So you've got the Grand Campaign consists of it goes all the way essentially from you've got the Orkneys and it goes all the way up into like Norway controlled parts of Scotland, back in through here as well. This is all under the Norse banner, so sort of Norway is controlling these. Where you sort of see a little dotted line like this, it means that this is actually a this is a, what is that one? That's neutral towards England, is a vassal of Norway. So you see the vassals have got like a border treatment, just to sort of show where they actually are. Scotland back in through here with its vassal, so that's a vassal of Scotland. So Lothian is their vassal. You've got a few sort of independents. You can't play as these sorts of groups. So these are not playable. If you click on, actually you can play on them. Sorry, I didn't think you could. So we've got Strathclyde and Galloway. These will be falling down into the other factions area, and these would be very, very hard to play. So these would be very, very difficult. So getting across again into Ireland. Ireland's always a good choice with any of these sort of games because it's fairly contained. So that's usually a good choice to sort of pick things up. I've been testing everything every time I play the game just with Scotland, and because it's not very large, and getting a large kingdom can be difficult. in this period we've got England, which isn't too large, but it's got like a number of vassals, which of course you don't have to then manage. So England itself, I guess the one that you're managing is really just in through here. So England is not onerous, even though it is very, very powerful, and it does then have the different vassals back in through here. So like you've got Wessex and Mercia, Northumbria, for example. So then over here you've got like Wales. Is Wales? Yeah, Wales is just its own entity, and this is up in the middle section. So there's 3 different sections. You've got the major nations, the remarkable factions, which I think the remarkable factions are probably the interesting way to get just get used to the actual game itself. I'll see if my head's in the wrong spot here. Eventually, we'll just figure out what's going on. So Necronoth is saying, "Oh, nice! I've played Field of Glory Empires for hundreds of hours. Never knew they were going to make a map campaign for the Kingdoms game." Never knew they were going to make a map. Yeah, and like, do you mean the little maps? Yeah, it's actually. I hope they keep on making them. To be honest, I hope that they keep on developing these, the different scenarios, and I think that it's going to be accessible for other people to mod that as well, because it does talk about the scenario maker being able to do all sorts of different things, which makes me think it's possible that they will actually allow people to actually have their own. Little mini campaigns, which I think would be awesome, just to actually have something. For example, like I'd love to just have a scenario around Ireland. Like just find a period in time when Ireland was interesting. And I don't think we have to be constrained to the 1050s as our start point, or the 1000s. I think we could go back a little bit with certain factions. One of the limitations that they do have is that the time period has to reflect the time period that the base game of Field of Glory Medieval has. Field of Glory Medieval has got. So that's actually because the units go straight across into that one. So I'm thinking that like some of these scenarios from there, actually the base scenarios, they do go backwards in time, and so for a smallish area, you could actually be playing almost with Norse style. Vikings and things like this. I think that they're part of Field of Glory Medieval. So anyway, it's pretty cool. Hi, Curry Muncher, how you going? So off games, what GPU did you start with when making vids? Was that your first upgrade? And what are you using now? God, what am I using now? I'm using an AMX because of price, which I've been happy with, to be honest. When I started, it was just whatever was on my computer. You don't need a lot, to be honest, to make videos. Making the videos is not the thing. It's playing the games, which is the hard thing. I mean, you need to be able to do both. Because I'm a graphic designer, I've always had a fairly powerful computer. So I've usually got a hell of a lot of RAM, and that tends to be the thing that helps a lot, I think. So. And Carrie Munch is saying Lothian is pronounced as Lothian. Lothian. Thanks for that one. Carrie Muncher is actually Scottish, so you will know all of the actual pronunciations. Necroth is saying, I bought the Kingdoms game. I thought it's another battle simulator game, like the one that you needed to play battles for the Empire game. No, the Field of Glory Medieval is that one. Is the tabletop version, and this one does handshake with those. So you can play the battles either in this system. The battle system in here is identical to Empires. So if you're playing it in game, you've got the same makeup as Empires. Necron is saying, I just like playing the Empire Management of Empires a lot, a whole lot. Yeah, it's and this is better. This is actually deeper, richer, makes more sense, more intuitive. It's not dumbed down. My head always goes to dumb down simply because it just makes more sense, but it's not dumbed down at all. And you'll see that as we get into it. So anyway, you've got all these different factions. I've only started in the top corner. That's one corner of the map. It then extends on down through Central Europe, of course, down into the Iberian Peninsula, all the way down into North Africa and a fair bit of North Africa. So it's not just the coastline. So it does extend deeper down into these different sort of more remote areas, like the into the Sahara, etc. So we've got all the Muslim countries across the top of North Africa. There's Tobruk. So what do they call it there? Cyrenaica, back and through this other side. Of course, you're then going to have your Italy's, fairly fragmented in this time period. Holy Roman Empire. One of the interesting things as we come back up north is is we do actually, and this in the early days this wasn't part of the what they had, but you can actually sort of go and play as some of these like Norse factions as well. These weren't included in the early beta tests, but these are now here. You've got Norway. You've got Vasta Gotland back in through this other side as well. Sweden. So all of these are now all playable, which is great. Some of these aren't playable. Like if I go and click on, like anywhere where you see an army, essentially, if I go and click on it, that is Sweden is going to be playable. But there will be some that aren't. So, for example, like Kolobruz, none of this stuff is. This is sort of like wildland territory. But this one here, actually, that one there we can't play. Yeah, some of these you just can't play. Some of them you can, like Saxony we can, but not this group. So this group of knights in through here. So the Obotreats is not actually a playable faction. So these will be here mainly for the expansion of these sorts of other locations down through here. Bohemia is, Kingdom of Poland is, but then I think some of the things like Silesia is playable. So when I was clicking around, you've got Prussia as well, is not playable, which is interesting in this period. So this is not a playable faction. I don't know if it will be by the time the game launches. I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the plans for this, but you certainly have like a lot of different. Yeah, you see. So Volnir back and through here, Halleck back and through there. These are all playable. So I'm assuming at some point these will probably by the time launch comes, maybe Prussia will be there, but I'm just not sure. Lithuania is not playable as well, which is surprising. I thought that would be. Not in this, at least in this instance. These chiefdoms aren't playable. Like I'm clicking on them, but can't actually go and play as them. They're certainly still part of the game. The Novgorod is playable. The city-states back up through there with Russia. Russia itself is playable as well. So Chernigov. Let's just get across into. Yep. So these are all playable. This is interesting. And then we get across. These aren't so much playable as we come across into the hordes, into the Bulgar hordes. But you can see there the scope of it is fairly big. So these are mainly going to be sort of like the sort of like the outer reaches of Russia, and then we get to the outside edge into central Russia essentially. These aren't playable as we sort of come back down this other side, and then we'll start to get into the Muslim territories in the south again. So we've sort of got like the Arabian Peninsula back down this other side, and with these, and then most of these will be playable as well. The Fatimids, the Byzantine Empire, back in through here as well. See the hordes are not playable. They Pecheneg hordes, but the Kingdom of Hungary would be playable. So there's a lot of choice here with where to actually get started. Actually, it's saying fantastic. I'll probably buy this game too then. Yeah, and Janoxys is saying it looks roughly like the scope of Medieval 2 in terms of map size. Yeah, it's a largish area, and every faction, no matter which faction you end up playing, is going to have its own unique modifiers, which is actually very, very interesting. Like there's a lot of work being done in the history of trying to make it so that it's got the same historical aspect that it might have. Like for example, if we go and choose, and I haven't tested this, I'm just going to do this sort of randomly. But if I go to say the Kingdom of Poland, and we go to the modifiers, there will be certain aspects. These are the modifiers that just affect playing as Poland, and so we've got converting the masses. And so in the 1030s, the Kingdom of Poland experienced a large-scale pagan peasant uprising, a reaction against the early Christianization efforts. The upheaval forced the ruling pierced distancy out of the country for a few years. When order was restored, the returning Paists undertook a building program of churches and monasteries to convert the general population and prevent further uprisings. Structure construction, reduction in infrastructure cost by 10%, conditional to some categories. So it just means that trying to get piety high in the game is going to be fairly good for Poland, like just by 10%, which will just make it a little bit easier for them to do that one. Late Polish culture, so reduction in money cost by 30%, applies only to cavalries. So it helps them along with in that sense. Structure construction, reduction in infrastructure cost by 15%. Conditional to some categories. Stewardship bonus of 15%, so that the overall administration of what they're doing. So these little bonuses and things like stewardship is administration. When we're looking at different things to do with the churches, this is piety. There's simple broad areas in the game that everything then falls underneath. And so when you're looking at these things, these are just little bonuses they're going to get. Western feudal state, we should find that most of these areas will all have the Western feudal state. Like if you go to Saxony, for example, go to its modifiers. Actually, that's not. This is old High German culture. So this one here, we've got structure, construction, reduction in infrastructure again. So they're going to have like a different sort of different approach. Holy Roman Empire member, so they can be part of the Holy Roman Empire. So there's a whole lot of different things that do come through with these. You can see there, being part of the Holy Roman Empire, your court expenses increases by 20%, and it's color coded to show you these are negatives, and in terms, and also the maximum domain size decreased by 35%, which means that you can't control big territories if you are part of the traditionally part of the Holy Roman Empire. It's city states essentially. So these sorts of things are designed to keep you focused on what was important for that country by making the mechanics work either for or against you to actually affect that. If we go up to something like Norway, so if we go into the Norse regions and have a bit of a look and look at the modifiers, unclear succession laws, so can collapse on the death of a ruler, so they can completely fragment when one of their ruler dies. We've got late Norse culture. So these are applying only to transport ships, light sail ships and heavy sail ships. So they get a trade range bonus, which makes sense for Norway. Reduction in equipment cost for their raiding ships. So still very much a Viking style approach, but it is sort of at the end of what they did in terms of the Vikings. Again, Western feudal state back in through there. They've been fully westernized by this stage. Sweden may have similar sorts of modifiers. Your Swedish Crusades in this case. The Swedish Crusades were a series of campaigns of raid and conquest. You can see how rich and deep all of these things are. Conversion bonus 15% of current rate. Yeah, surprise attacker can move into the territory of pagan nations on the turn war is declared, which means that they can just basically push their way forward and expand, fairly rapidly. But everything, like if you go to England's going to have its own set of modifiers as well. So everything has got its own set. I think even like things like Munster, Irish culture back and through here. Can issue raid orders even if not a tier 1 civilization. Minus Celtic feudal state. So bonus of 5 XPs when a unit is created. So character force pool bonus of +1. If we have a look at the Scotland as an example with its modifiers, late Scottish culture, Creek. I'll have a stab at these words. So Kreikreich, or the right of royal prey, and this allows them to raid into Britain essentially and do British and raids across the border. Burgs and towns as well. This is allows them to have like fairs come to their towns. So it's extremely rich. Even like Wales, they'll have their own like late Welsh culture. Minor Western feudal state, for example. So they get different bonuses or malices depending on what they've actually chosen. I don't know where to start with this, to be honest. What to show, where to sort of head off with it. If you look at some of the Muslim states, they're going to have also things like they go to the Fatimids. So late Mashverek culture, palace, standing the test of time. Again, it's just Al-Qira, Cairo was founded by the Fatimids shortly after they took over Egypt. and they spared no money to greatly expand and develop the city. In the national capital, settlements will be able to build extra structures beyond the normal building slot allowance. Usually one building per population is allowed. Assimilation again. So there's so much in here. If you look at some of these as well with their modifiers, their Persian culture, Muslim feudal state, it's incredible. It really is. Look at this one for Byzantine. Wow, that's going to be, there's so much. And there's the interesting thing about this as well. You can see the difficulty. This is a 5 out of 5 difficulty playing as these guys. These must start as an empire that will then go into collapse. This is the other thing about the game. It'd be interesting to let's just pick them. We won't play as them, but let's pick them, and I'll show you the sort of like this types of complexity. Sorry, we've got more that we can do here. Second Rome, yeah. Wow, it's just so much. And so a lot of these things here, this would be an extremely difficult faction to play. Let's just go and click on OK. It then gives you a context history of where things actually are, how to play the game, for the simple reason that the game is not easy, and so it does give you some guidance as to what to do to actually play a faction like this, playing as them as well. So it just goes through what your potential issues might be. Let's just go and have a bit of a look. And so to try to manage a big country like this one, which is one of the things I wanted to do was just go into the nation panel and have a look to see. Yeah, they're a stable, fractious empire. So these are already an empire, a very fragile empire plagued with disunion and powerful, independent-minded nobles and contenders. So it's sort of ready to collapse. It's right on the edge of collapse. If we go and click on this one here, it will then show us where it's only level 2 actually. We can stabilize it. So playing as the Byzantine Empire, what you'll be trying to do will be to get progress and actually have it so that instead of it being a stable fractious empire, to go into an ascending fractious empire back and through here, which will then sort of help it. You get a few different benefits back and through that other side. Once you get to there, you can then go from a fractious empire into a flawed empire, for example. And so this will then take you into tier 3. This will be the top tier that they can then sort of move into. And so they would then move into that one. Once they get to there, a stable flawed empire, an ascending flawed empire back and through there, a young unruly empire. So this is all the progression that you can do through the game. A stable unruly empire, an ascending unruly empire back and through this other side, and then finally into a fully fledged proper empire, like a young empire through here, and then a stable empire at that point. And of course, it can collapse the other way as well. And as you collapse and things go back into turmoil, as you lose, and to be honest, getting the Byzantine Empire into this sort of area is going to be extremely hard in this particular game. Going back the other way, as things start to become into turmoil, you're going to then start to find you'll end up with civil wars. Like as we go further back, we end up back in here, breaking up. So usurpers will soon declare themselves. So this is where, as you go and degrade and descend into chaos, essentially, it will then certainly become a fragmented empire. The fragmented empire will then become if you keeps on going back, into civil war. So just the flow of government is extreme. So that's actually what happens with something like Byzantines. If we go back out, I thought I'd show that because that's an interesting one, because that's already hard. Let's just go back in and start up again. I'm so glad I can show this grand campaign. It's sort of it is awesome, because this is really the base of the game. Okay, so Genoxis is saying looks roughly like the scope. If we did that one, and ZXM is saying you're on the verge of becoming great. If you turn that frown upside down. If we'll just get in here. Let's have a look at one of the other extremes, one of the smaller areas. If we go to Scotland, to go over to Ireland as an example, or one of these are sort of like at this in this period, these are fairly backward in terms of in terms of their development. So I've got Irish friends. I almost said it. Some would argue that that's still the case today, but I've got to be careful. I've got a few Irish friends who and we always slag off at each other. So it's it's all in fun. But if we go and choose one of these, so we've got Ulaid, we've got Munster. I'll just go to Munster. Munster's only a single area, but if we go and choose this one as an example, and again, it's got it's complex. So the clans of Ireland form 5 major petty kingdoms. You can see the detail that's gone into this. I'll just let it sort of load everything else in. So the AI then runs through, does all its initial decision making, because it's essentially a WeGo game. Like it's not a turn-based game. Everyone puts their turns in, and then the game plays over, like Dominions. Dominions is a WeGo system as well. And so we've got Munster in through here, and we don't get to see the other armies anywhere else because we don't actually have eyes there. We can sort of do all sorts of different things in the game. As I say, it's an extremely rich game in terms of what you can do within its simulation. And so we've got like an unclaimed territory. So Desmond is essentially just independent fiefdom back and through here. But if you have a look at Munster itself, and then just go into it's a stable Tuath, which essentially is just a tribe. And so in this instance, we've got we're just at level 1, which is like a duchy, I guess, is the way that or a county. So this is essentially like a county, and so it's quite stable. These are fairly easy to play, and so it's fairly easy for these to start to progress. And so this one here, its progression, if it does sort of end up progressing, will end up becoming like an ascending Tuath. And then it becomes actually, it's still in level 1, it would then become a young duchy. So it goes almost like from a county to a duchy into a stable duchy. It's now sort of getting the minor Western feudal state like different bits and pieces. So it's now sort of dropped a lot of the Irishness, I guess, like from when it sort of started. Ascending duchy, your duchy they can become a petty kingdom. The petty kingdom then sort of goes across and continues on until it becomes a young kingdom. The kingdom's still at level 2, continues on over the course to monarchies, and then finally we get to level 3. So this is like where we become actual kings. So like this is where we get bigger and bigger, and then finally we can become an unruly empire. So eventually we can sort of get to empire status, but it's quite difficult. It's actually going back like a young empire. Going back into a stable, flawed empire will actually descend into, or could descend very easily into civil war. So this aspect of the game is like it's just genius. The way that so many of the systems in this game really are a work of genius. So Conagura is saying, can you check the Scandinavian region? Very intriguing. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I actually really like the Scandinavian regions. It's sort of funny. I mean, which one would you like? Because we saw there that Norway and Sweden have very, very different focuses. Sweden is more about building empire. Norway at this stage is more about trade and sort of establishing themselves through ships. So they've actually both got, they're both quite different. Yeah, let me know which one you'd like to see, because they're probably going to have fairly different looks of it. I mean, it may be ZX7 saying it's like Crusader Kings 3, where the goal is more about having a good story than conquering the map. Yes and no. Not to the same extent that Crusader Kings 3 has got. Crusader Kings 3 is much more about the story and about what happens to the people. This one, it does impact it, but you don't have the immersion of Crusader Kings 3. This is much broader in its scope of what you do at a higher level, and not so much at the dynasty level. I'll show you the dynasty aspect of it. So I think Denmark will be the major powerhouse in the region, in my opinion. Okay, so Denmark is so if we have a look in here, it's got Jutland, or Denmark is going to be. Actually, the Denmark in through there. So Denmark is in that side. Jutland, these are both sort of like in the other faction area. But if we go and so you've got these as well. So Skane, and so these are vassals of Denmark, for example. Jutland is a vassal of Denmark. Denmark is has got the vassals of Skane and Jutland, and so that's actually what does happen through here. This is a petty kingdom already. So it's and so if we have a bit of a look at this one here, if we have a look at the modifiers, often you get a bit of a feel. So we've got the Skane market. It's a fish market. Late Danish culture. So we've got light sail ships. So these are again, they can sort of raid with their ships. Western feudal state. So that's the modifiers. If we go back in and have a look and see how that translates, I don't know if Norway is going to give us more of a feel. Unclear. No, it's still Western feudal state. That's okay. Let's go to Denmark and click on it. So as it sounds like I prefer this one over Crusader Kings 3 then. Yeah, this one is much richer. I saw what they're going to be writing for the coming. There's going to be they're putting out a few different press releases in the lead up to the launch. By the way, the launch is on June the 4th, and so look, it's only a couple of weeks away now before the game actually does launch. But I did see a stat comparison of the numbers of buildings, for example, in this game compared to Crusader Kings 3. Things like the actual nitty gritty of the actual empire itself is much richer in this game, but the dynasty aspect is much richer in Crusader Kings 3. Just to put that into perspective, this is sort of how that one does work. Anyway, so the death of Knut the Fourth of Denmark in 1086 marked the end of the Viking Age. So we're actually in 1054, so it's still actually in the Viking era at this point. It's just giving us a bit of the context though. So we'll just have a bit of a look and see what it's got. So we'll just go back into Denmark. So King Haldor back and through this other side, ruling for 11 years, young petty kingdom. So this is essentially just a petty kingdom at this stage. And so again, it'll probably just go through the standard petty kingdom sort of style of things. It's not going to be anything too tribal. Unruly empires, yeah. So it's just going to go through the pretty much the standard look of the way that it will then sort of operate. Really hope this game will give me some a proper beating. Certainly, Empires was an interesting game to sort of then go and play. Yeah, what else is there to show before we get into the actual game itself? What can we show? Denmark might be a good one to actually play as, like it's sort of, we do actually have an area there that we could extend into. I've got a little bit over this other side as well, a bit more sort of tribal in nature. Does anyone have, should we make a decision on what we play as? Denmark's going to be interesting simply because we're going to be, mid-level, and it didn't show up though as one of the suggested ones. Maybe we'll just go back out. I'll show you the various suggested ways of playing the game, so we might have a look at that. But I think it still would work no matter which way you do. Conager is in saying, as a kingdom, you can instigate some kind of holy wars or crusades against Baltic states. Depends on who you are. I think Sweden can. So Sweden can do that one fairly easily. Again, that aspect is extremely rich in the game in terms of who can do what. Yeah, I haven't scratched the surface of that at all, I've got to say. If we go into the nation panel, and is it in here? Overview. No, it's not going to be here. If we go into their summed abilities, this is all the different abilities that they actually end up having, all the different bonuses that they get. Yeah, this gives you a bit of a summary as to what they end up doing. Diplomacy. I'm trying to think of who else could actually sort of go out and do things. I don't think you need to worry too much about like declaring war against a Christian neighbour is a problem. If we go and have a look at the actual religions, so this is where is it? Where is it? The religious ones, religions back into here. So there's no real problem with taking on these types of religions. So we've got, for example, I don't know if it's going to show, no, it won't show us what they actually are, but in this case, it's these are Petty Kingdom. These should just be pagan, I think. I'm pretty sure they'd just be pagan. If we go and click on them. I'm not sure, I haven't played with this bit of it. It's not showing us what the religion pagan. There we go. So 100% pagan. National religion is Christian Catholic. But the actual is 100% pagan. So heretics generate here at 0.11%. So party generation per population is very low, 0 points. This will favour the creation of heresies. And so these are all going to be pagan all the way through here. Then we've got the Christians back into this other side. Prussia is still pagan at this point in time. Maybe that's why it's not playable, actually. That one through there. We've got a Orthodox religion back and through this other side. But then this has got 43% pagan, so that would be difficult. As we sort of come back up through, we've got Sweden, which is Catholic. And we can see there it's 100% Catholic. So they're sort of ready to go on and start to take over these sorts of territories. As we come back down through, these are going to be predominantly Orthodox, 100% Orthodox back through here. Little pockets of them. The Byzantine Empire will all be Orthodox, of course. Then we're going to have the Muslims back down this other side. So these are all going to be Sunni or Shiite. Where's the Shiites? Are they over this way? No, that's all Sunni. Shia, there we go. So the Shia Muslims back up this other side as well. So it models all these different religions as well. Spain is ready for the Reconquistador or whatever it is, the Reconquista. Back into this other side, these are going to be 83% Christian, 17% Muslim. So there's going to be varying amounts in through there as well. So there's a whole, like it really is extremely rich in terms of what it does do. If you're playing as Ireland, everything's just going to be 100% Catholic back up this other side. So your religions are set that way. To actually go through, actually there we go, we've got Christian Catholic back up there. This is when you click on this one through here, it then shows you the major ecumenical councils around the world. So you've got like Rome, Constantinople, Jerusalem, Medina, Mecca, so that's what you sort of end up having. Papal states are the actual the guarantors of Christian faith, and so you then need to go through. You need to then deal with the papacy to then sort of, if you're a Christian country, or the Fatimids back over through here as well. These are the champions of the faith, and so they become very, very important. So if we go and click on these, it will then take us to wherever that faith actually is. So Christian Catholic, Constantinople, is it going to take us there? Yeah, it will. It will sort of then take us down to these major religious centres. Whoops, wrong one. That one there. Let's get rid of that. So again, but I haven't played with this at all. So it just goes through from Christians to Muslims as to what goes on. I don't know if that clicks on anything. No, that's not clickable. But it's and then also every screen has got like different things that it'll then go through how to set things up, and this is extremely well done. There is also a manual which is even more detailed than what this is, but this gives you probably 80-90% of the information that you do need to know. So for example, to try to figure out, we've got heresies back in through here, which is titles, excommunication, holy wars, crusades and jihads, for example. So there can only be one of each at the same time. A crusade cannot target the papacy or a non-excommunicated Christian. Practically this means it will never target an Orthodox realm. The jihad cannot target any type of Muslim, but all other religions are valid targets. Holy War can be started by the player of a crusade or jihad. Regional development. So this is RGD, which generally can be drawn by one of the top piety-producing factions. So there's so much. This is where the combination of the mechanics in this game, you won't know what's going on when you're playing the game until you really play a lot of it. But this, you can see there, it's like whoever's producing a lot of piety will end up getting their regional decisions with where they may have the opportunity to sort of call a crusade against something. To join a current crusade, you must talk to using the diplomacy panel, either the papacy or the most pious Muslim nation. You will gain 10 national authority if you join the ongoing holy war. So this is sort of how this is the rules then of the holy wars. So I think that just taking over pagan territory is not, even though it's a crusade of types, it's not a specific crusade where you're trying to get back either from the Muslims if you're playing as the Christians, but it does actually have a lot of these different things. Holy cities, yeah. There's just so much, and I haven't even read any of this stuff, so I've got no idea how this bit of it works. But it is extremely deep. If we play, do we want to play? The only reason I'm thinking we play as something different, other than Denmark, is just because it's. I guess we could go and just see what actually happens. Are you guys happy for us to play Denmark? I can do I can set a poll up. Maybe we just get a few countries, and I'll just get you guys to vote on which country. So Koniger is saying this. So what I can see in Denmark and other kingdoms can be played independently as a vassal of the kingdom. Yeah, you can still play as the vassal. You can decide to not be a vassal. You can declare war back against them. Anything like that. Koniger is saying it definitely CK3 does not give me a challenge as it was in CK2. This one is much more challenging. It's much more higher level. I'm not going to be playing Byzantines, I can tell you that. We're going to be playing something small. It's like smallish, because I can then sort of show you how to manage things. But playing one of the big centres is not going to be fun. So I'm not going to be doing that one. By the way, I mean look at at Constantinople, the actual buildings that have been built there. It's extremely developed. Whereas if we go back to like Denmark, for example, and have a look at what it's got. It's going to have like rudimentary fortified villages, the king's residence in this case, but there's hardly anything there in comparison. So it's really quite interesting the way the game sort of does set things out. I think we could pop Denmark in. I might put Denmark. I'm sort of Norway might be too far out of the way. Sweden sort of is a bit landlocked, but we'll be wanting to try to get over to here eventually. I think Poland could be interesting. It's a fairly big country. That could be an interesting one because you've got all of the various other areas that you then need to try to move your knights into. I think Poland is a good choice, actually. So Zedek's saying Dad's too good. He plays under the great pressure. And I don't know about that because I think I'd just get. I don't think we'd even play a single turn if I played as the Byzantines. Banksy is saying if you play Byzantine, you can play as a vassal, like Crusader Kings 3, or you control the Empire. You essentially control the Empire if you play as the Byzantines. You can play as a Byzantine vassal, and that way you're only really playing sort of where you're expected to help them. If you just go back to ownership overlays back and through here, but they don't have very many vassals, to be honest. This one here is actually we won't see it until we get back out. Just let me. I will get she moved back out again. Return to the main menu. All right, so we'll just get a bit of a short list, maybe of 3. So we'll go with Grand Campaign. We'll play it on Experienced. I haven't tried it on anything other than just Balanced at this stage. No idea of saying, is it challenging enough? Yeah, I think it is. I think I've found it quite immersive because you've got a lot more choice than Crusader Kings 3, for example, in how you structure your armies. And so you have full control over that. And if you do have Field of the Glory Medieval, you can then play the battles out in tabletop mode, and that's really, really good. I'm thinking Ireland may be too small for us. Scotland, I do like, Scotland's fine. You've got a bit there that you can expand into without having to worry anyone. So just let me I'll put Scotland. I'll put Poland in the mix. So these are the major factions in here. It's funny because Scotland actually features in here, but Scotland is really quite a small country. So these are the major nations. Then you've got the remarkable nations, and Poland is one of these. And I'm thinking we mainly look at some of these ones here. So rather than going up into the major nations, you've even got things like Venice, which is a republic. So they've got like different set of rules for how to play as Venice, as an example, like a trading nation. Genoa, I think, is the same. I think that's also much more like trade oriented. I won't play as those. I haven't played with those, and that'll be quite different. Bretagne back into here is he's got no treaties, which is interesting. So, but that's going to have a lot to contend with back in these other different regions with the French vassals. Northumbria, Wales. Which other one should we go with? Normandy, which is a royal marriage. So this is before Normandy takes over England. This is prior to the Norman invasion. So it still is William, Duke William, I guess, in this instance. So the difficulty is fairly easy in this particular instance to play as Normandy. So it looks like they can actually become fairly aggressive. I won't play as them though, I don't think. Man in the Isles, that's interesting. This is more Viking. That might be interesting. You start off with just a single faction, and you've then got to expand out from there. A petty kingdom, Christian Catholic Norse, and like I said, conquered Western Isles. Maybe even starting from here and seeing what you can do in Ireland. It might be interesting. Actually, I'm not sure about that one. That might be. Yeah, I'm interested to try that one. The Isle of Man, Saxony. A bit too much like Poland, I think. What else have we got? We don't need very many. I might just. I'll put Denmark. I'll put Poland. And I'll put Scotland, I think. So I'll just pick those. I'm saying Scottish Picts are interesting if it's the right time frame. Bretagne says no idea. Bretagne is going to be a little bit constrained by Normandy, I think. That will be a bit more of a potential issue. I think it'll be more a diplomatic game if we play as Bretagne. And I would like to be able to sort of show some of the combat. So I'm trying to find things where there are some territories that we can sort of fairly easily move into and not have too much difficulty to sort of show how the combat works. So I'll get now to do a poll. I always forget how to do it. Engage with your audience. Just let me. Sorry guys, I'll just start a poll. That's a good question. So faction. Just bear with me. Hang on, add an option. Okay, this one here. We'll go Poland. Poland's going to be interesting simply because it's bigger as well. Denmark, or Denmark in this case. That'll be interesting as well, simply because of the ships and so on and so forth, and the Scotland. And Scotland does actually have Highlanders and Lowlanders type thing as well, so different sorts of units available all around the different factions as well. Okay, we'll start the poll, so that's going to be up in the top. I'll just let that run for a little bit of time. I'll just let it run for a minute or so, and then we'll just sort of see. So just vote away in the chat, and we'll sort of see how it goes at this instance. And I'll just go back to the game, and we'll reset. All right. So, experienced. Actually, I think we were actually in the right position anyway. Yep, so keep on voting, guys. Keep on voting. It won't matter too much which one we do play. And they will play very, very differently. Just, because of the mix of different troops that you're going to have. The troops actually do matter a lot as to who you go up against and how you then sort of rebalance that. So Conagura is saying the Isles are interesting because you have so many different fronts to worry about. And yet that would be a raiding faction to play as the Isle of Man. I think that would be a fun one to do. I think you'd be, even though you start off fairly weak, I think that one would, you can see there, this is sort of like a more sort of skirmisher type units, only 4 combat units to start with. But it would need to expand fairly quickly into some of the other territories and try to sort of extend itself as quickly as it possibly could. How are we going? So I'll just let it run a little bit longer, maybe another minute. And then we'll see what else is there I can tell you about the actual game start. So this is the over map. So you can see there's a lot of territory, a lot of like there's so much gameplay in this, and even when you do play a faction, doesn't play out the same way each time either. It is very, very rich, extremely rich. I mean, even like it's even interesting with the Italian peninsula, like trying to sort of unify that would be interesting as well. So Conagura is saying, have you tried playing Philoglory 2 medieval battles with the game? Yes, I love it actually. I actually prefer it to play it that way. Even the easy wins, easy beats, I've been playing even them in that system just because I enjoy it. ZXMO, so maybe just raid the others without expanding if that's possible. Yeah, you can do that. Raids are not a problem as well with different factions, depending on who your faction is. If you've got the ability, like if you're playing a Scotland, you can, until you become a certain size, and then it's just no longer acceptable. But Scotland starts off being able to raid into Northern England, and so that is something that they can actually then go and do. How are we going? Looks like Denmark might have been the winner. I'll just have a quick look at the poll. Sorry, guys. Come on, show me the actual poll. Yeah, Denmark's the winner. Okay. It's interesting. Does it all add up? Oh, yeah, it's up. Wow, it's pretty close, actually, between all three of them. So Denmark is the winner. We'll end the poll there. And we'll play as Denmark. In we go. So we could have just stayed where we were. Okay, so very, very close. So Denmark it is. The Danemark. It's funny because that actually falls outside of into the other factions area, which is interesting as well. Where is it? Where is it? I don't know if that means that it's not fleshed out properly yet. I keep on seeing it and then missing it. There's Lesser Poland. I'll just go to one on the map. That'd be the easiest way. So we'll just go into, there it is, around Jutland and Osterland and things like that, and Skane. So we'll play as Denmark. So, and I will just go through, I'll read all the bits and pieces. So even if I don't read it here, this just sets me up with the information. So I sort of read what's going on with this one here. Gameplay, it'll then sort of give you information. But if I just click on if I click the tick, it's going to tell me all this anyway. So let's just go into that one. So, okay, so I'll just let while they're playing out. So the death of Knut IV of Denmark in 1086 marked the end of the Viking Age. So I'm guessing we can still play as Vikings at this stage. And never again would massive flotillas of Scandinavians gather each year to ravage the rest of Europe. After a period of civil war in the early 12th century, Denmark was united under the rule of Vladimir the Great in 1131 to 1182. Vladimir built Denmark into a major power in the Baltic region. He and his successors launched several crusades against the pagan tribes of the Baltic, adding parts of Wendland and northern Estonia to the Danish kingdom. By the late 13th century, however, the power of the Danish monarchy had declined, with the Counts of Holstein owning much of the country. So gameplay to begin with, it's crucial to ensure that your treasury is not losing. This is pretty much a standard thing that it tells you. And so we'll go through what this one is. Take stock of your regions and assess whether any buildings are worth the cost. Also know that kingdoms randomizes the regions with different buildings. So your initial situation will vary, even for the same nation, between two tries of the same scenario. So we will have some randomization in the buildings that we end up getting. And that will mean that the money situation should change a little bit. I'm not like it says that there, but in tests that I've done over the last day or so, it hasn't been changing, like the plus 23, plus 8, and that will chop and change depending on the buildings that you have, but I haven't seen that happen. So I'm hoping that that what it's saying here is accurate. I think it will be. In beta testing it did, but not in this version of the game that I'm playing. So again, this is just a early access version. So no idea of saying, is it hard to win battles? Because in some videos they seemed to be too easy. Depends on the content and what's going on and your settings, basically. The third is saying, I'm so excited for this game. I enjoy Empires, but Kingdoms is more my preferred time. I'm exactly the same. The ancient era doesn't really interest me much at all. So next, prioritising stabling your authority. I'll have to talk about all these different things. Also mindful that neighbours, blah, blah, blah. Once your indicators, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we'll just click on OK. And so here we go. This is the, so we've got Denmark in through this other side. We've got a heap of different tools to help us manage it. The first turn is the longest turn by far, for the simple reason you've got to get a feel for what's going on. And so if I go and click on the Kingdom of Denmark, the first click I have, if I can do it, and this unfortunately, the reason this was one of these little brown areas is because we can't control in a macro level, and there is actually a macro level. So if we have a bit of a look, you can see that this is this area is Shaland, and I'm going to pronounce these things very, very incorrectly. So I do apologise for my pronunciations. So Shaland back in through here is going to be the main province. This is Finn back over through here, again another province. We've got Laaland back into this other side as well. So these are the three different provinces that are part of the Denmark. And also you see it's got Denmark on one side and then Denmark on the other side. These are two different things. Denmark is our country. So this is on the left-hand side over here. When I hover over Denmark here, we then all of a sudden see there's a whole lot of different coloured areas. This is the province of Denmark, and we need to actually control more than 50% of those provinces for that then for us to then be able to do things on a provincial level. And so the reason that we don't, I think the game's put us into that lower rung, is because we don't control this province. We share it with Jutland, and even though Jutland is a vassal to us, we don't get the benefit of that. So when I hover over that one there, this is a nice way to be able to sort of see what the provinces are. And this can be a good way of trying to figure out what your objectives should be in some things. But if we've got like a vassal, we don't need to worry too much about that one. We'll evaluate how that's going to go. So all we can do is we can only just go into the three different areas that we have. We have to micromanage this. We can't just automate what's actually happening through here. If I go to Skane, for example, so you can see that Skane is the vassal, the name of the vassal. Skane is the actual vassal area. Like this is Skane itself, and you can see there that the actual province in this case is Smaland, and so that consists of all these different territories back in through here. Typically, you'll also find that the capital of a kingdom will have this sort of rotating area around it, like what we have in through here. But also, if I go to province view, like this will then colour all the different bits and pieces, and each province is also then going to have. There should be a capital of the actual province itself. Not sure how we can tell that one, but I think it must be Shaland in through here would be the provincial area. And you can see there that also, look, when I hover over this one here, it says the Petty Kingdom of Denmark, provincial unit is Danish mercenary knights. The provincial units become available to you when you do get control of a province. And unfortunately, there's a lot of Shaland, even though they're a vassal may end up being or Jutland may actually end up being almost a better faction to play, because it looks like they control this province. And so this is all Denmark. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all in Denmark. We've only got 3, even though we're the actual king. So that's an interesting one as well. Yeah, so this one here, almost tempted just to have a quick look out. Do you guys mind if we just have a bit of a look just to see what that's going to do? Because I'm just interested now to see what's going to happen if we happen to have picked Jutland. It may be better for me to show off how to play the game if it does what I think it will do. So Eric Westerberg is in saying scone is more like an English O, so scone. Okay, so scone, not skein. Okay. ZX7 is saying, do you know if it will be moddable? I believe so, just from what I've read. I've also had a look at the actual files. I tend to do that, like just when I'm looking at checking things out, and they are very, very, like the actual information is just in CSV type files, comma separated values, things like that. So it's not like the actual setups are all very, very exposed. So I'm assuming there will be, fairly easy modding for the actual game itself. Let's go back to Jutland this time, and it may be that this is the continental portion of the Kingdom of Denmark. Jutland is a largely flat land. What does it have as for its modifiers? Danish culture. It's if I just go and click on OK. Yeah, the southern area of the peninsula Schleswig is the area of conflict between the Danes and the Holy Roman Empire. It was also the site of Hebede, an important trading town established by the Vikings. There we go. If we go and what happens if we click on them? No, they don't control the capital of this region, so they don't so. This will be the capital of the actual region itself. If I go back into the provincial regions, you have to have the majority of the locations in the actual region, plus control of the actual capital of the region. So only Denmark can really sort of get control of that one. So I'll go back and we'll go back and play as Denmark. Where are we? Yeah, I thought we may have been able to manage that one. Actually, what I might do, if you guys don't mind, is play a scone and see a scone and see what happens there, just to see if I can sort of show that provincial start. Because it is worth playing a game so you can see that one. It may be actually in hindsight we may have been better off playing as Poland, which I'm pretty sure will then have control over territories. I might have to make a captain's call here and actually and go and play as Poland. In fact, I might just do that now if that's okay, guys. I'm sorry about this, but I'm gonna do this just so I can show this aspect of the game. I want to make sure I'm covering all the important things in the game, and actually the automation is really, really important, and that's why I think that the non-remarkable factions, the other factions, don't have that ability, and so because they're not, like, for whatever reason, I was surprised like Denmark and things like that just aren't big enough. Even Sweden should have control of it, but I think Poland does look interesting in the sense that it's it's a fairly big territory. It does have Silesia and Lesser Poland as vassals. I've got no idea what playing this was going to be like. Hope you guys don't mind me making this decision, but I think I can then show more about the game. We would need to attack our vassal if we were going to take over territory. Now we can do that back in the game if we do play as Denmark, but we won't. It'll be a while before we can do the automation. So Eric is saying, yeah, do it, but I won't be able to help with the pronunciation anymore. Oh, maybe we look at something like Norway or Sweden and just sort of see how they like see if we can do it through that. I don't mind doing that actually. Let's have a quick look and see with Poland. Like if we go back again to the provinces, yeah. So Poland, you can sort of see there does definitely control. Like if I click on that one through there, this is the automation area. So Poland actually controls all of these different areas, and so they've got full control of the whole lot. You only need to be able to control like half of them. If we go back into this one here, for example, we don't have control of that one. Don't have control there, but we do actually have. We don't have any control at all over this. This is all part of a vassal. It's all to do with Silesia, and then we've got the Lesser Poland back in through here. We control this territory, but say Lesser Poland actually is sort of the one that's sort of operational back in through this other side. So if we go and click it a second time, you can sort of then see that we end up coming back. So this is the this is Masovia is the actual territory or the province name, and yeah, we do actually have control of both of these. So we've got this is Greater Poland and Masovia are the two provinces that if you did play as this one, where you can actually automate. Now Poznan is, and if I just zoom back out, we then see the actual names. So Greater Poland, Lesser Poland. Yeah, Denmark, massive territory. Östergötland. You know, I'm thinking that Sweden could be doable. Norway would be doable. I don't mind going back and like. I mean, you guys did want to see like a Scandinavian country. Maybe we give that a go, playing as maybe Sweden, and just see how we go with Sweden. That way, we should be able to then get across to here. Anyway, sorry, I'm keep on doing this. We're nearly ready to start the game. Scenarios. Okay, so let's just go back in. Playing experienced. So Thor is saying do Denmark. I can't show the automation, and the automation is very, very important, just in terms of if you guys trying to decide whether you want to play the game or not. Let's try them all. Yeah, says ZXM. Okay, we'll try Sweden, I think. Play Viking style. Should we play as Norway? See, Sweden has got Västergötland, Uppland, and Österland as its vassals, and I'm pretty sure, like Sweden itself, will actually have control of one of the things. Even though it's down in here, I think that this is playable. Let's see if it is. The 11th and 12th, early 12th century, Sweden is in theory a single kingdom, but in reality consists of several autonomous provinces. From 1130, the throne of Sweden alternated for several generations between rival houses of Sverker in Östergötland and Erik in Uppland. In the 1220s, okay, that's all a bit too far on. Let's just go and click on OK. Do we have what we want? No, we don't, damn it. Ah, damn it. No, we can't do it. I'm not sure. Oh, yes, we can. We can. Here we go. Okay, we can do do what we need to do here. So I do want to show this automation, because this makes the game so much better to play. So we've got a few factions. If we go back into the province view and just sort of zoom back out, yeah, actually we should be able to do that one. Yeah, we can. We can do two. We've got two different groups that we do control. In through here, so we can actually automate the whole thing. You can see there we're getting plus 22 gold at this stage in money. We've got plus 14 manpower, which is good actually in the game. We're getting plus 4 metal production, which is also good. Piety or legacy changes don't really matter that much. This is a score. Don't focus on that one too much. The important one is authority, so you do need to sort of go and pick up these sorts of things. But when I come back and see this particular screen, it means that I control the I control Östergötland. We control Södermanland back and through there as well. So ZXM is saying Isle of Man looks most interesting to me, but probably an uphill slog the whole time. I don't know. Like, it's sort of funny because when you do play like other scenarios, they've already expanded into the they do control the like a lot of these territories in some of the other scenarios. So they've actually expanded fairly quickly. I've got a feeling that they may be a fairly aggressive little faction that you can we can do a lot of different things with them. Anyway, this province view is pretty cool the way it does work. So we've got two different provinces we can look at. Again, if I just go back to ownership overlay, go to the Kingdom of Sweden in through here, just click on one of these provinces, and if I do go to Östergötland, it will then just highlight it for me as I sort of come back across. Uppland is a vassal, so this is Vasta Manalia is the actual is a ruling house. The Vasteras is a ruling house for us. All right, so establishing what we've got. So there's a lot we have to do at this in our first turn. I'll come back to the management of the actual of the kingdom, but at least we can do it with Sweden. So if I click on in this central area, this is Sweden itself. You can see we've got King Edmund the Old, so we're actually an oldish king. So ruling for 26 years, married to Dame Gudrun. The health is fair, he's age 51. The next lot of things that we actually have are important, like administration, military, and piety. These are bonuses that get applied to all sorts of things in the game. So even though there's only 3 of them, they do actually have a bearing on your stewardship, on the cards that you get, all those different bits and pieces. He is kind, which will then I don't know if it'll tell us what kind does. This rule is attached to the development of his realm and the people who live there. So health bonus of 5% and a region loyalty bonus of 5 as well. So people are more loyal while he's there, but he is also weak support. So authority changes on ruler's death reduced by minus 35%. Retinue number bonus of +3. Standing army units penalty of -3. So for us to have a standing army is difficult with that one, and I'll explain what that is when we get to the military side of the game. In terms of where we are, we're just a young petty kingdom, so we're sort of at level 2, which does sort of take us more into like a duchy, so the duchies and the petty kingdoms will all be sort of in together. Going back into this one again. We're getting +2 authority, which is actually good, so that's not really going to be a problem. Now, you can see there we've got the bonuses we end up getting is we're going to get a planned authority changes of 2.3. The domain size, or the region size, we're actually getting a bit of a bonus with that one through there. You can see it says maximum domain size for authority gain is 14. We've got 8. So we can still control more regions with who we actually are. Required domain size for realm change is 17. So we've got to take a lot of territory to sort of be able to really extend up into different sorts of types of realms. Only nations with enough authority can progress in realm status, moving from a petty kingdom to perhaps an empire one day. Authority is also it's going to take us forever to get there anyway, but that's actually what the target would then be. So we can get up to 4. We can have up to 14, which is actually a hell of a lot in this game. Quite often 4 or 5 is what you sort of expect to sort of see. That does give us a 0.6 bonus to the domain size. It's sort of pushing our authority, because I've got a bit of a vacuum in terms of what we control. We can control more, and because we control less, our authority is enhanced. So it's sort of, this is where it rewards the smaller nations with more authority than the bigger nations in that sense. We're getting 1.5 from special structures. That'll be very, very important for us to locate where they are. And national modifiers as well. We're getting 0.2 as well, just from national modifiers. And if we have a look at the realm traits or the summed abilities, we should then sort of see this is all the stuff that's actually happening. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here we go. Even the maximum number of standing army units is still 7, actually, which is not too bad. That's actually good. That's a big army. Retinue allowance of 13. Not sure what that one does, to be honest. Penalty of 10 XP when a unit is created. So our units are going to be fairly poor initially. Non-dynastic character limit of 5. Yep, that's okay. Petty kingdoms, that's what you sort of get. I'll explain what these things are. Units roster bonus years from 1053 to 1149. So this is the years range where your current unit's national roster is valid. Factoring bonus years, if you have any, So yeah, that's basically us. The whole game is going to be basically with this unit roster bonus. You can get bonus years, meaning that you'll change to a more advanced roster earlier than historical, depending on your military expertise, national capital education, how many military reforms you enacted. So currently these values are changed from military expertise 1 years. Yep. So again, we've got these different reforms and things that will then come up. Military expertise at this stage is from 0. And we'll see how that one goes. So we can sort of build up this aspect of our empire. So these are things that we can focus on over time. Claims, we don't have any claims. That's interesting. Quite often you'll have actual claims. No decisions to be made. The realm traits, these are again our leader traits back over through here. The Western feudal state. So we get a food production, and we have a character force pool bonus of +1. And then we have the, here we go, the Swedish Crusades. The Swedish Crusades were a series of campaigns of raid and conquest against the various pagan tribes. If we've read that in before. Conversion bonus of 15%. So this is mainly going into Finland. So it does want us to do that. Surprise attacker can move into the territory of pagan nations on the turn war is declared. So we can actually sort of do our own mini crusades. Late Norse culture. So this one gives us the ships, essentially, and low military expertise. So faction modifier. So either a lack of interest or weak traditional military matters makes this nation of men enlisted in the army not very good at martial skills. So yeah, we've got the character force pool penalty of 1. That then gets rid of the pool bonus of 1. So we lose that. The character quality penalty of 3, that's actually not good, and penalty of 10 XP when a unit is created. This would be a good faction to play and export them out, because then you're not going to be impacted by the poor leadership. Let's have a look at the leadership and how that one works. If you go and click on your portrait, you then will get your dynasty and the peers of the realm. So this is the peers of the realm is really the way to think of this particular screen. And so we've got Edmund the Old, we've got Gudrun back and through here. She's only 18 years old. That's interesting. Very high loyalty at 94, so her loyalty is good. So she's our spouse. That looks like that character from Game of Thrones. And three body problem. Forget his name. Got a couple of concubines. We've got an 18-year-old concubine back and through here. Unknown loyalty, and unknown loyalty for Christina as well. Only a 16-year-old in through there. So they're the courtesans. I don't know what role these play in the game. I haven't sort of seen these do too much at all. Sons and daughters, we've just got one heir. He's 13 years old. So he's actually, he's old enough. If they're under 12, there's a chance that the other relatives might rise up, and still a chance if we die that will happen. But Gear in this instance is essentially he's now old enough to be able to push his weight around a little bit. King Bobby B, there we go. In this instance, we've got 5 relatives. We've got like a little arrow, so there's an extra person back over through this other side. And so these will then form our generals, our administrators, things like this. So we sort of choose from these different peers. And so we've actually got 5 nobles as well that are just part of the court. And so this looks like Crusader Kings in the sense of you've got to manage all these different people. And yes, you do manage them. Yes, they do different things against you, but it's not as intricate as Crusader Kings 3. That's very important that you at least understand that with the way it does work. We've got Torstein. This is our brother. He's only aged 20. We're aged, we're 51. So big age discrepancy. I find that this happens a lot in the game. I don't think that this has been fleshed out properly to get the ages and things more accurate. Extremely poor administration, military of 3, and piety. So he's very pious. The thing that it says at the court, offence ratings of 1 and defence ratings of 0. This is really important. The other thing we have to evaluate is the diligence of being a governor. So he provides a food bonus and an infrastructure bonus of 10%. He's a good governor, even though his administration is terrible. So the administration is bad. So he's a bit of a double-edged sword. He's also part of the clergy. So he's a clerical. He's essentially like a monk or something. Then we have another brother, age 24. Administration is better. Military 5 is good for recruitment. Piety is good for converting different people across. At the court, he's got an offence of 0, defence rating of 1. Siege expert, so siege bonus of +2 for each unit in the stack. So that's actually good. He can actually break through if he does lead our armies. Unfortunately, the offensive rating of 0 is not good at all. It means he's going to struggle. He's going to waste a lot of troops. So he's not a good general. But the siege expert is worth a lot to us, because once we do win the battles and then start to besiege forts and things, he will actually be able to pull down the forts faster than other characters. Then we've got Godmund. So this is another brother, age 23. Administration 4, military 0. The military in this instance for a governor means that they, like the experience bonuses when you do recruit troops won't come into play. And so I'm looking now for who's going to be my general, and I've got 2 governor roles to fill as well. Offence rating of 2 is good. Is actually very, very good. And then the little skills down the bottom, like pragmatist, is something that will either be good for military, like we saw with the Gunnar, with the siege expert, or more to do with being a governor, like we saw with Torstein back in through there, with his ability to sort of generate more food and infrastructure. So pragmatist, so piety rating decreased by 1 point. Conversion penalty, so administrative rating increased by 1 point. So not really going to help us much in that sort of instance. But the offensive rating of 2 is valuable, is actually valuable. And then we actually have, now you're probably thinking, okay, the way to do that then is to put him in charge of the army, march in, win the battle using him, and then put Gunnar in charge of the army at that stage to then do the siege. Doesn't work that way, because what actually happens is when you change the ruler, like the owner, like not the owner, the generalship of an army, the ratings of everyone in the army drops, and so when you add a general in, there's a period of it being unsettled. So it's not worth changing your generals around too much. And we've got another. This is an uncle. He's only age 21. This is what I mean about the ages are all sort of all over the place. The defence of 1, messy, so taxation penalty, so he's not very good. Also, just like we've got loyalty problems back in through there as well, in terms of the provinces. And then we've got Hagen. This is another uncle, age 25. He's got no military skills there at all. An architect. We get an infrastructure bonus of 15% and a siege bonus of +1 for each unit in the stack. This I think is going to help with protecting as well. In this instance, though, the administration of 1 is a big problem. Let's have a look at the peers of the realm. And so we've got Brynjar back in through here, age 19, no administration, defence of 2. He's actually leading the Swedish army at this stage. Spiritual, so regional loyalty bonus of 10, party bonus of 10. Not really great for anything. Like in terms of defence, he's the best defensive general that we've got. So we've got Herlefer. This is he's only 19 as well. Good administration, no military skills, educated, so party bonus of 10, stewardship bonus of 10. Stewardship's important to understand, and authority, which we'll get to. Bjorn is another cleric, and so in this case, age 23, good administration, no military skills, pragmatist, so not going to be any good with what we need to do. Hjalmar, back and through this other side, good administration, good military, valiant. So authority gained from destroying units in battle increased by +25%. Actually, that would be reasonable. Victory points in battle increased by 25%. Winner loser determination, and chance to die in battle increased. So he's a frontline fighter, essentially. But he's only got an offensive rating of 1. And then we actually have Rangvida in through here, age 21. Good administration, no military. Messy as well. So we don't have a real lot to choose from. We can change things like their loyalty. These are all unknowns back and through here. Yeah, we've got all of our relatives are unknown. These are all unknown as well. In fact, these are all unknown as well. So we don't know what they're thinking. Health-wise, everyone should be fairly healthy. Charge, this is their job essentially, and then the treasure. Can be important just in terms of what they're then likely to do. If they end up with a lot of money, they may get mercenaries if they rise up against you, things like that. So, but this is again nowhere near as deep as Crusader Kings. So Thoringdir is saying, did you check France? I'm curious about it. France is there's the fall of the Angevins, which is like after William the Conqueror has sort of, in fact, it's Richard the Lionheart, that era, and in that sense, France is completely fragmented, and so that is you can play as France to try to then bring back your country. In this instance, France is still fairly whole with a whole lot of vassal states. So yeah, I have looked at it, but I haven't played it. So Banks is saying so administration on Goodman 4 is 4. Or a total of 4+1 from pragmatism trait. I'm not sure actually. Not sure there. So administrative rating increased by 1 point. You can never go above 5. I've got a feeling you may be a 3. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm thinking that would allow for that. I think it would show that in there. Anyway, that's our people. So we'll start to now allocate them. Now we've got, we'll just get rid of that one. You can see we've got the army back over here, the Swedish army, into that other side with 8 units in it. We'll have a look at that in just a minute. But let's just go back into the different areas and start to put in people in charge. And so click to appoint a peer of the realm into this domain. So domain is like the way it's pronounced or written with Dimension, that's also pronounced domain, but that's actually a region. It's very confusing. I wish they had just stuck with regions and provinces. It would make it so much easier. So click to appoint a peer of the realm to this domain, meaning provinces. Province. Depending on their proficiency, he will provide more or less bonuses. So we saw their administration increases local stewardship and maximum national domain size. So when we have a look at the domain size in through there, about halfway down that list, it says maximum domain size for authority gain of 14. If we go and put someone with high or administration, they're going to be able to raise that for us. Now, we don't need that raised. Military provides experience to newly recruited units, and piety helps with conversion. Now, we shouldn't have, the region itself is 100% Catholic, so we don't have to worry about piety in this instance. So I'm going to go back in. These are all the characters we just had a bit of a look at. So getting administration is usually fairly important. Is our clerical brother. This one does provide, he's a diligent governor with food and infrastructure bonuses. This is our sort of secondary area. We've got Gunnar as well in through here, siege expert. I can't put him in charge of the army, so he's sort of a bit all over the place in that sort of sense. So, yeah, pragmatist, we don't want that. Messy, we don't want. Hagen is an architect, infrastructure bonus, but very poor administration. Spiritual we don't need. Educated, piety bonus, stewardship bonus of 10%. Administration isn't bad, so Herefliffer is actually not a bad choice. Military is poor, administration is high. Let's go and actually add him in, I think. Let's have a quick look at the others. Yeah, I'm going to put him in as the governor. And so he comes in as the governor into here with his skill set. And so these skills then get applied across different areas as well. Actually, I didn't check to see if these numbers change. But if we go back and now have a look at the authority, you'll see that it's gone from, the maximum domain size has gone from 14 to 18 because of his administration skills. Let's go now up to this area through here. There's a few areas here that we don't control, but we do control enough to be able to then sort of settle all of these different areas. So the person we want in charge in here, you can see this one's now been coloured in. I think it's almost, we put Torstein in charge. Again, we're looking at the Catholic culture, it's 100%, so the piety really just doesn't matter. But the diligent governor, you know, the food and the infrastructure bonus is a good one. He's he's not bad as well with the 442. Then we have this one as well. Uncle Hagen with the infrastructure bonus of 15% with the architect. It's going to mean we can build things faster. I think I might throw him in there. So he's got poor administration, unfortunately. I don't think it's going to improve this one much. It's now got up to 19, from 18 to 19. So the maximum domain size has now gone up. That's the other one, meaning regions. The domain, when we sort of hover over this, over the area that was back in through there, that was the region itself. Okay, so one thing I like to do with this is to automate the what we're actually going to be focusing on for the actual province itself. And so in this case, I tend to just go with balance, which then just rebalances all the different people out. You'll see that these different things will then change when I do that. So that's now gone to plus 48. He's put a lot more people into commerce than what was there before. So he's taken them out of the food area and put them into commerce. We've only got Stockholm is the only place that's actually got like a lot of infrastructure actually happening. We'll have a look at Stockholm in a minute. That is the regional capital there as well. If we go back to the other one, the Kingdom of Sweden, this just means we don't have to worry about it. So Ljungdung is actually the capital back and through here as well. And again, by hovering over these different things, I can sort of see the different bonuses that they have. How things actually sort of do operate. Let's just go and rebalance that one there. You can see we're now up to plus 96. We're getting a lot more money than what we had there before, which is good. So that's sort of all been reshuffled. Gotland has got like a lot through here. We've got a lot of building slots open. I can automate the buildings as well, and so the AI will then just look after that for me, or I can just keep it on the pawn here and just go through and manually do these, which I think is what I'm going to do with these different areas. One of the benefits of actually having regions like this provinces, is that you can then sort of share, you can share a lot of the infrastructure. So if you've only got one place building, it will take the infrastructure and the building abilities of the other provinces and then put it all into that one. So Banksy's saying Uncle Hagen, 25-year-old, bald and a mullet. There we go. And ZXM is saying, is Uncle Hagen is my favourite uncle. Hi, W. Slayer, how are you going? He said that's why he's his favourite, because he's 25 years old, bald with a mullet. He was in charge of this one, wasn't he? Yeah, Uncle Hagen, there he is. All right, okay, so that's so we've automated the people, but we haven't actually built anything in the slots. You can see here we control more than half. We also control the capital of that particular province itself. So I'm just going to go through now and just do a quick evaluation of everything we've actually got in every single location. So if we just go back across, we'll start at the top. If I go back in, I'm now looking at what this one has got. So this has actually got a population of 6, so it's very underpopulated. This is Nerik. In fact, if we just go back into our normal ownership, we can then sort of, actually I might even just go back to just the normal map mode in through here. And so as we go back through each of these, Nerik, back in through this other side so Nerik is the actual region that we're now looking at. We've got a poultry farm, which is going to give us some livestock, and we also then have a minor stockpile back in through there, which gives us sort of pickled goods or whatever it might be. If we go and have a look at the trade details, this can be very helpful to then sort of see what's going on. And if you put on the trade overlay, you can then start to see what's being produced where and how things actually then do work. So in this case, at Nerik, we've got, actually, does that require it? That should be okay. That should be okay. So we've got, I can bring up the actual different buildings to see what does go on. Oh, it needs preserved food. It doesn't make preserved food. It's imported from Skane at the cost of 2 money, which is not too much. Or Scone, or however you pronounce that one. This little summary will then give you a bit of a feel for what's going on. So we don't need to be like the minor stockpile. It's not costing us very much at all. I think I'm not going to worry about anything to do with that one through there. We'll have a bit of a look through this one. In this instance, we do actually have some preserved food which is manufactured. Preserved food. What have we got through there? This is the manorial domain. So this one here is the manor. And I don't know if we can. I think we can actually disassemble that one if we wanted to. So we're missing 2 bonus food from legumes. It's not going to worry us too much. We need livestock imported from Boosterland at 2 money and produces preserved foods. But we're using preserved foods, must be somewhere else, I'm guessing. In this case, natural trade goods, we've got sort of like stone. Back over through here. So we're not selling it though. When we see the 0, it means that we don't have a use for it. So that's interesting. The preserved food, we're getting it from elsewhere for the other for the other area, but it won't matter that much. What else have we got through there? We've got the that one there. We've also then got an anchorage, which then allow us to. We'll need to upgrade it before we can start to really build any ships. This one is generating a little bit of money for us, and does have siege resistance, etc. The back over through this other side, we've got a fortified manor, and we're looking at Stockholm at the moment. So this is the fortified manor. This will unlock mounted huskarls, so we can sort of get mounted huskarls from here, which is good, and it's actually not costing us anything for that one there. Back over through here, we've got the domain court. So this is I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water. I'll be right back. Hi, Tails Slyfox saying hello. Been watching you for a long time. First time greeting you. Oh, that's nice. So welcome, and by all means, guys, just ask any questions, and I'll try to sort of get to the questions about the game. Welcome along anyone that is watching. So this is where it's talking about domain in the sense that it's talking about the province now, the collection. And so when you do actually have a province capital, you're going to get some sort of court, and this one provides a stewardship bonus, and I'll talk about how stewardship does work as well. Gives local administration, gives the loyalty bonus as well. Doesn't really cost us much, but this is like where the bailiff sort of then does operate. This is Uncle Hagen, I think, would actually be living there, for example. Then we've got the Freeman cottages. This is sort of like more how things develop for your population. You can see we've got a population of 8. This one will then give us, it's costing us money because we don't actually have, we don't have tiles and brick. We're missing that, so it's costing us 10 money. We're missing bonus money from horses and tools. So if we can find these things, you can see missing trade goods there. It's important to sort of have a look at these. And we've got a whole lot of different trade goods that are missing in through this other side as well. So we want to know what's going on so we can then try to change things up. Quaint houses, so we get like different bonuses and things. So the Freeman cottages actually do work out fairly well. And then finally we actually have the King's residence. So this is actually our residence. So we can't destroy this. This can't be destroyed. I think we can't destroy this one either. Actually, we can destroy that one. I didn't think we could. Anyway, the King's residence gives us a big bonus to stewardship. We can get even more stewardship from gold, weapons, and armor. So there's a whole lot of different sorts of trade goods in the actual game itself. So that's Stockholm. I can just keep on going through like next region, back and through there. We've already done that one. Next region down is this one through here, and so this one is also only just got like a poultry farm. The livestock we're getting from the poultry farm is not being sold anywhere. We do also have a marble vein in through there as well. Not really going to matter that much. We'll just keep on going through to the next province. So we've only got 8 provinces we have to go through. This one here at Jungdung and through this other side has got like an anchorage, a commoner cemetery. The commoner cemetery will then help with piety, keeping people a bit more loyal in the actual game. And then we also then have the domain court again. And so this is where our brother is in control So again, the bailiff building, because this is the capital of that particular province. You can see with that sort of grey thing around there. The other one means that there's sort of like the ruler of the faction is living there, but this one here means it's a provincial capital. All right, go to the next one. Back in through here, we've got local watch, so costing us a fair bit of money and actually costing us manpower as well. If we could get the wool in, we'd get rid of the money. So this one gives us more of a garrison. Yeah, so we'll patrol villages, we'll fend off bandits and low intensity raids. This is something we could ditch, but our money situation isn't too bad. We've got a natural trade good there of indigo and missing the wool. So getting wool would be good to keep that one around. And back over through here, we've got a rat catcher as well. So we're missing a bonus of 3 money from the lack of grain. Rat catcher is not really going to matter that much. So I'll just leave that one where that is. Go to the next one. Back into this little island, back into here. This is Oland. All we have in through here is a craftsman's borough. Now, these get a bonus for each. So you currently gain 1 infrastructure, and we gain 1 infrastructure per building of the category. So if anything we can do in the infrastructure and health category, up to a maximum of 12, this craftsman's borough will then actually give us even more infrastructure, which can help everywhere. So that's actually an area that we want to sort of have developed in that sort of sense. Let's go to the next one. 7. We've got Gotland back out through this other side. We do actually have an iron vein. All we actually have here is a crude smelter. And this one here needs iron ore. We're missing it. It's costing us a heap of money because of that one. But it does provide us with metal, and metal is really important. So regional production of 2, intrinsic production of 2. So this is an extremely important location, even though it's costing us a lot of money. Health penalty of 3, regional loyalty penalty of 4. People don't like working in the crude smelter. By the way, if these can be upgraded, you can click on this to see what the upgrade would be. So at some point we can get these to a bloomery or an early furnace. If I go and click on one of these, that one can't go anywhere else. What about you? Yeah, that's as far as they can go. So we can actually ultimately change these across. Whoops, where was I? Just go back to Gotland. And then finally we've got Kinder back in through here as well. And have a bit of a look at what it can do. It's got no buildings whatsoever. All right, so let's just go back to Stockholm. We'll start there. So we can start to go into the building queue. Now, the way it sort of works is you don't have to build, but you can if you like. You can see it's going to take me an awfully long time, the way things are structured in here at this point in time. We can change that as well. So, again, it can be very, very useful to actually have your trade details screen open while you're planning what you're going to then go and build. So, because we can see what we actually do need. Like we do need to get livestock. We need to get tiles and bricks. We've got Naboya. We've got a small harbour. I'm actually happy enough to get that one, to be honest. It's going to ultimately unlock. We'll unlock Skinner and Car. I'm not sure if they're types of ships, but let's go and throw that one in there. That one looks pretty good. Number 2. Again, going to take forever to build these. We're going to have to probably sort of change things around just to get more infrastructure. Yeah, brass is a problem. Shepherd House will produce wool. We needed wool. I'm sort of inclined to go that way, even without looking at the other one. We've got Traders Burrows. Yep, that'll do. I'll just go and throw that one in there. We don't have, as I say, we don't have to build everywhere. It's just if we have the opportunities. One of the big changes between this and Empires, Filgor Empires, is that you can now go and pick the. I don't think they had it. I can't remember this if it was in Empires, but you can now make a choice. You can override what they're doing and bring something in, but it's going to cost you authority to do it. And so, and we haven't spoken about authority, but that's something you may want to be doing as well if you're not getting what you need. Craftsman's pigsty. I think I'll just leave it. Does produce more livestock as well. All right, we'll go to the next one. In this case, we've got the, let's make sure that is up to date. Yep, so beekeeper back in through here. We don't have a need for that. We do have a need for wood cutting. So that one might be worth getting. You can see how much faster these will be producing things than the other location. Protected settlement, yeah, we don't need that. Parchmenteer, we don't need that either. I think we've just got wood cutting here. Next one. Producing grain, that's usually a good one. Smokehouse, tannery, levy camp. Might just go there with the farm. Just go back. Yeah, this is now, because we're now using the infrastructure to build other things, it's gone from 3 to 6. So we're actually now using all the leftover infrastructure. So I don't, again, by pooling everything around, we don't have to deal with this each time. That one, missing bonus of 2 food from grain. I won't worry about it though. Stonemason, needs stone, trading required, can be imported from Stockholm. Gives me a big infrastructure bonus. You know, I think I might do that one. I'll grab that one as well. Did the others now change? Oops. Where are we? Yeah, so it's now gone up to 9. So with each one of these that we're bringing back in, it's now taking a lot longer. Food storage, back in through here. What do we require? Missing trade good, iron ore. It's a charcoal burner. Produces 2 lots of coal. I mean, this is sort of the area that we want, isn't it, really? I might grab that one. I can certainly afford it, so let's just go and do it. And then the lucky last. It's a charcoal burner. That also produces coal, so we don't need 2 of them. Fisherman's house. Here produces fishes. Levy camp, commoner, and hamlet. Hamlets can be good. So you can see there the manpower bonus of 3. That's going to be important. Missing bonus of 1 manpower from grain. Now if we can get grain, needs legumes, trading required, can be brought in from Scane. So garrisons, yeah, place to call home. I might go and grab the hamlet in this instance. And again, our time frames are now blown right out. So that at least just gets our initial building under control. And you can see there the numbers are fairly, like we're building something everywhere through there. So I'll just micromanage that aspect myself. Armies, we don't need to do much with them at this stage. There's really nothing we can do with them. But this is the army itself. We do actually have Brynjar, the defensive guy. I think the earlier we bring in the other general, the better. So I might just pick on him, and we'll go with Gundmar, the pragmatist, with the high offense. He's the only one that's actually got it. So Gudmund will then sort of come back through, and that will then sort of impact their abilities for a little while, and then it'll sort of start to come good. So we've got those. In fact, we should have checked the combat power before we did that one. That should have gone down a little bit, I think. Actually, maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't show that. Let's go back to the ownership overlay. So now in terms of getting across to here, for example, like Prussia is, and all these different countries are sort of open to us. We can sort of try to figure out the best way. You can see garrison and militia defence. So there's 15 units that defend there, 10 units there, 12, 11. So we need a biggish army to be able to dominate this. Let's talk about armies, and so you can sort of see the complexity and the intricacies of the actual armies themselves. When we click on our army, It's made primarily of just some simple units in through here. We've got some skirmishers, some early light archers, and you see, show you there, these are range units, they're levy, and they're support units. So these support units are very important in this version of the game. They are important as well in Field of Glory 2 Medieval if we do export their battles out. But yeah, these are just important as second line troops. So we've got 4 of those. And then we also have raw spearmen. So we don't have anything really all that good. Raw spearmen are also just levies. Levies are quickly raised. You don't need them around when you're not at war. So we could, if we wanted to, re-get these at any point. So to actually get the armies, if we go back into the, you can do it from either location. One of the interesting things, though, is when you do control provinces, one of the big bonuses is you end up with the ability to pick up different mercenary. And so Swedish mercenary cavalry is available in this province. We wouldn't have this unless we controlled the actual province. And then this province gives us the Swedish mercenary spearmen. They're always going to be mercenaries, which means that they're always going to cost a lot of money. If we go back in now and have a look at I'll just go back into here to start recruiting for the actual armed forces itself. You can see we don't have a real lot of choice with the army at this stage, and some of them we just can't afford. So I'll have a look at each of these. First one is just the raw spearmen, and this will then, if I do a left click, I can then hover over. I think it's control. Is it control? No, it's not. These are our heavy infantry and just levies. These are clumsy in forests, swamps, or mountains. And then the upkeep for a levy is 24 gold. 8. This is it's costing us 8 manpower back and through here, and two of the metals to bring these in, and with 2 upkeep as well, plus some equipment. So there's the early light archers that we saw there before. Again, these are costing me 20 gold and 5 manpower to just keep these around. The mercenary cavalry, mercenaries only cost gold. And so in this case, these would cost me 124 money to actually raise them initially, and then 30 money after that one. But we don't have any other upkeep. So there's some equipment there. We have to just help them with equipment at the start. Steady, agile, charge. Yep, that's okay. The 2 that we actually don't have, the Huskarls, which we would be wanting to go and get, requires some sort of training building. So we needed to get like a rudimentary fort, rustic ringwork castle, rustic hill fort, shell keep. There's a whole lot of different forts there. If we can get one of those, we can then start to build the Huskarls, and we will need to build our armies around these. And so these units here, these are very, very strong. And these are heavy infantry standing army unit. I might have to look back and see if we can actually find one of the things to be able to then bring these in. But we need to build that first before we can bring the Huskarls in. And so these are the backbone of our army. We definitely want these before we go and do anything. These cost 125 to raise the first one, then 21 gold, 8 to manpower, and 3 of the metal. Now, what's interesting about this, as opposed to the levies, is that we can see the actual combat rating is extremely high. If we go back to the raw spearmen, look at the actual cost difference. The raw spearmen has only got a combat rating of 9. It's costing me 24 gold to keep these around, and then 8 manpower and 2 of these. So I really don't need this around at all. Like, it's actually these are just a drain on the money. We can raise these at any time. These are sort of like getting them from the peasants. The standing army we want to keep around because these don't cost much to keep around, but their overriding power is extremely high. So we do want to get these guys. So we need to get one of these different types of forts to be able to then get the Huskarls. The early spearmen back in through here as well require the same sort of thing. So the early spearman is also a standing unit, not worth anywhere near as much. Still got the same upkeep, so we probably won't bother. These are defensive. These are offensive spearmen, which makes them fairly valuable. But the upkeep is still exactly the same for the Huskarls. So we might as well go for Huskarls in this instance. If we go back to this other location and have a look and see what they can do, what they can bring in, they're going to have. If we just go and click on that one a second time, Go to the provincial level. And so they've got Swedish mercenary spearmen are the actual provincial level that they have. So if we just go back into the unit queue, we can see there that they've got the raw spearmen, the mercenary spearmen, the light archers, the husscars again, and then we also have now manted husscars. And these are something that's fairly unique for us. If we go and click on these also, like, these don't have anywhere near the metal upkeep. So I'm thinking we probably end up trying to bring some of these in as well. And so these are also a standing army unit. So we need to start to build up our army slowly over time. And with some of these better quality units, this is going to be fairly important. But we can't afford them just yet. These ones require the rudimentary fort. This one requires the fortified manor, which if we got the fortified manor in through here. If we just go back, where is it? We've got the fortified manor there, but we don't have it in here. So so that's why that's sort of all more difficult for us to sort of go and get that one. So so we need to get one of these sort of fortified villages, rudimentary fort, something like this. So we'll maybe just have a quick look back through, and this can be from in any of these provinces, I think. Let's just go back and have another look in here. This is the small harbour. Yeah, Boya. This is stable. That's not going to help us in this instance. Peasants roundup. We should find what we need in here or in here. Back down this way, there's a protected settlement. Yeah, it's not going to open anything up for us. Levy camp. This one only really gives us the light infantries and skirmishers, so it's not going to really help us much. But it does allow us to muster a little bit faster. Discrete helmets. No, we don't need that. Minor stockpile, not going to help us. And levy camp again. So we don't actually have those little forts. I'm thinking if we're going to be building it, we're probably better off doing it down here in one of these locations. So maybe at Yungdung, which is sort of like the capital. So if we go back into here, instead of building this with the protected settlement, that doesn't give us what we want, does it? Yeah, it's really some sort of castle is what we require, like a rudimentary fort is really going to be what we have to sort of try to build in here. So if we just go back to the building, if we now spend some of our future authority and then go to the military, do we have a rudimentary fort? We've got a levy camp, peasants roundup, leather. This is sort of random. Yeah, no, we don't. Yeah, no, we're not getting them. Not getting them in the list. Nope. All right, so it's the Huskars that we want. So go back to Stockholm. Reinforced palisade. If we right click on the building, we can get more detail about it. We don't have to then buy it as such. Levy weaponsmith. That will then bring it back into here. Yeah, so it's going to tell us what we need. Yeah, Tier 1 military building, available structures, peasants roundup, levy camp, local watch. Yeah, we're not getting what we needed there. That's a problem. next one. We may not be at the level that we require. If we just go and right click on these. Yeah, it's only like the tier 1 military building. Yeah, it's not going to really help us much. I don't think we can actually access it yet. There must be something else that opens them up. Well, I guess we'll keep. Actually, if I just gone through, I think I said one. Yeah, everything else has still got what they had. That's fine. All right, so we can't do much at this stage. We've got a pretty poor military at this point until we can actually start to get the Huskars, so that they'll be fairly important. In terms of other things, I think we can sort of just end our turn now. What we end up having, that's all going to be okay. Yep, no, that's going to be fine. So I don't think there's anything else we need to do, so let's just end the turn. The turns then go pretty fast once you've got it all set up. So Kuna is saying, I wonder if there's Drakkar in the game. I've got no idea what that is, so sorry, can't help you there. Oh, there we go. So Kuna is saying the Skinar is basically your typical Norse longbow, where a Nara is more of a trading ship. Okay, cool. So we'll eventually get those. Let's just go and end our turn. It's now thinking, it's processing the turn. So if there's armies moving around, they'll be moving during these turns. It's going to be a little while before we can actually go on the attack. Still processing the turn. And so we are in the top area of the map, which is good. So we're in through here. So there's a chance we're going to pick up these progress tokens, and our legacy ranking is pretty good actually. So legacy is the score. We won't worry too much about that in this game. Under the wise rule of Edmund the Old, Sweden is progressing towards. Yep, that's okay. That's fine. We won't see much else in through there. We do actually have some regional decisions. I should have checked those. This is actually one of the questions we had, is do we sell these off or not? So the art of besieging, or now this is actually playing as a petty kingdom. We can have up to 16 decisions sitting in through here. If we've got too many, we can just ditch them and then just leave it. So so we can actually, if we wanted to, sort of sell them off essentially. So and these are, think of these as cards. So we've got 2 of these recruit non-standard units. So these will recruit. This unit allows a recruitment of early spearmen and berserkers. So if we use this one through here, so we could actually go and do that one whenever we feel like it. So that's actually just non-standard units. This one will give us those early spearmen that we were trying to get hold of. We've got 2 of those that we can bring up. We also have to recruit local units. So, yep, between 1 and 4 provincial units, depending on strength, even if there's no formal province here. These units will not be mercenaries, in contrast to ones recruited through the recruitment queue. So if we use these, so for example, if we go back out, if we just go and be careful when you use those, but if we go back into here and have a look again. This one here, the provincial unit is the Swedish mercenary spearmen. In here, it's actually the Swedish mercenary cavalry. So we've got Swedish cavalry that we could pick up. Let's just go and do it, even though it's, we've got a little bit of the money, etc. So let's just go across into here and play that particular card. So if we go into, again, the regional decisions, recruit local units. Now, one thing I can do is try to get more of these cards as well. So I can actually tell the game, give me more of these type of cards. So recruit local units. We're going to shift left click. So shift and left click will then change it into something that's going to have high odds of coming back in again. The non-standard units, I think, are worth also increasing those for when we need it. So I'll just shift click those. Convert to New Faith. We'll be wanting these as well, but I'll leave them where they actually are, and then Art of Siege. So shift right click to reduce the odds. Yeah, so this one here is, what's that going to do for us? Region must spend a siege. There must be a friendly leader, at least one total ranking, attack and defense. Yeah, that's okay. It's assist the procedure or besiege, depending on if you play it offensively or defensively. I think I'll keep all of these. We can have up to 16 cards in our hand. But let's go and recruit the let's go and recruit the local units into here. So with that one selected, I just go and click. You can see there's like now the decision. So we'll end up with another army in here. So let's just go and leave that one where that is. And again, nothing much else we can do this turn. So we'll just end our turn. Tiago saying you really need to try Kingdom Dungeon and Hero game from by the makers of Warplan. I didn't love it. You know, I've tried to. A lot of people have recommended it. I just haven't really got into it. Okay, so Eric is then saying, can you gain land Casus Belli through marriage? Yes, you can. There's a lot that does go on in the game. There's a lot that you don't even know that goes on in the game, to be honest. Oh, there we go. We just picked up one of our progress tokens. With the arrival of Sven, son of Edmund the Old, the royal bloodline is strengthened, and the realm looks forward to with renewed hope. So if we have a look, we've now got an age 0 son. Gear is still improving. He's now 14 years old. So that will all be good. Back over through here, we've got Sweden has received a progress token, so that's good as well, and received a new regional decision, so form vassal. Now that's for if we end up with other areas that we do want to actually go and get a vassal, we now actually have a new card to play there. We can sell these back. Again, I don't need to do anything else in through there, and we only picked up one unit, unfortunately, at the back there. So if you have a look and see what we end up getting. What did we end up getting there? I'll just have a quick look over there. Yeah, so we can get, with the actual other armies that do come in, got the Swedish army here. So we just picked up a mounted Huskarls. And so these have got combat power of 16. If we go and press control, we can then should be able to then sort of see what they do cost us. Upkeep is 15 money, 1 metal. So our metal still is actually okay, 5 manpower. It hasn't affected it just yet. I'm just going to go and merge this one with the main army, but this is our first standing unit. This is like an actual core unit. What else do they have? They've got charge, agile. These ones can actually operate in forest, which is good. So we're going to merge that with the Sweden army. So this has now come in as a separate element. We're fairly weak with what we actually have through here at this stage, so we'll leave that one where that is. That's all good as well. All right, so we'll just go across. We'll end our turn again. So we've now got 9 units there. I could play. I don't want to get any of the other basic units. I really want to be getting more of these higher level units just to flesh out what we've got. Oh, by the way, the seasons, as the years change, the weather for the 6 months at a time does chop and change a little bit. You can see their fair season, which is good. You can have harsh season as well. You can see in fog, they've got fog out and about in the Baltic. There we go, picked up a second one, that's good. All right, so another progress. Okay, we've got national authority, +1 bonus there, that's good. So that's going to affect the authority up through here. And you received a new regional decision, so embezzlement trial. This one we can, oops, I don't want to do that one. Sorry, I'll just, the embezzlement trial in through here is one that we should be able to do it at either one of these capitals. So if we appear in the realm named as a governor of one of your domains, we prosecuted for embezzlement. It might just be a convenient way to get rid of a dangerous individual. So we don't know what their loyalty is like yet, but that's a way we can get rid of it. So let's just hold on to that one. We could sell that one if we wanted to. If we just have a quick look back there again. Yeah, we can get a little bit of gold, a little bit of manpower, a little bit of metal back as well. But that's okay. The non-standard units, we're just going to be early spearmen and berserkers. You know, maybe we grab one of them as well. Let's go and play that there. So that's one of those gone. I would like to show, before I get going, I would like to show what military does look like. Just processing the turn now. Not sure if we're developed enough to be able to move off with the army across the oceans. We just picked up the extra units. So Thor is then saying, how is kingdoms easier than empire regarding controlling your economy, overview of economy, etc. It's easier to understand. Like is one of the big things with the economy. Like it's so much easier to understand. It's still complex, but it's just easier to get what's going on. Driven by this, just how Estonia has invaded Sweden and their armies now clash. Wow. Okay, so a nation declared war on us. Great. Okay, so Estonia is a fair way away. All right, so back over there. That's fine. So they're actually now. I don't know if they'll come to us or if we want to go to them, but they've now declared war. So it's a petty chiefdom. They're in the bottom tier. Minor tribal state. Yeah, at war with everyone now on our side. Yeah, so the economy itself is interesting, and we don't like it's pretty early in the game at this stage to be able to sort of really see it. But if I go and click on the trade goods, this is quite an important screen. When you sort of see the green, it means that the actual the trade goods coming in and out are actually okay in these provinces. When you see red, and if I hover over this one, it'll tell us. You can see where all the trade goods are produced and what regions have missing trade goods. So this makes it much easier than empires, but still intricate. In red, regions with 3 or more missing goods cost a lot of money to sustain. In orange, which is what we're seeing on our map, regions with 1 to 2 missing goods. In blue, regions with only 1 bonus good missing, 5 or more. In green, other regions. So green just means that we're doing okay. This one here means that we do actually have a shortfall to try to bring some goods in. And so if we go and have a look at the actual province itself and click on the trade details, we'll see that this will then give us an overview of what's actually happening in through here. So we've got one of the trade goods that we produce is moving out into Nerik. Is it Nerik? Yeah, into Nerik. We also, when we click on this one through in here, we can see that we're actually importing something from over here as well. And so if we go and hover over the different things, we can then sort of see that the commodities that have been imported, we're actually importing their livestock. So the livestock is costing us, trade value is 3 money, trading cost is 2 money. So we get a little bit of an overall bonus because we're importing that one. Each one that you see now is essentially a single trade good that can then be moved off. So if, like it used to be in empires, that if you controlled, for example, wood here, it would then could be applied to all the places around it. Plus, it also could be used any wood that was required at all. They could have like 6 different structures requiring wood. You only needed 1 wood to be able to then make use of it, and you could still then trade it off. So it was really, really complex. Now, each trade good you see has only got 1 use. You don't even get a bonus for it for the actual from where it is. If it's sold off, it's then gone. And in terms of your basic usage. Where it does change, and it goes more back like the empires mode, is in the bonus trade goods. So, and bonus trade goods are different. It used to be that if you imported something in empires, a trade good, it would then appear in your list of elements that you actually then have, and then it would become available as bonuses for everything around you. So that was the way of playing empires, which was quite complex. Whereas in this case, when they're imported in, it doesn't really impact everything around it. But for example, this wood that's here can be the bonus good for anything around this region. So that one, anything there will actually, for bonus goods down the bottom through here, will then sort of allow these to be picked up as well. So you've got sort of like 2 factors in terms of your trade goods, but the main one-for-one trade good thing is to do with money mainly, and trying to sort of maximize your money. You can see we're missing tiles and brick. If we could bring that one in, it's going to then save us a lot of money. So we're saying, so 1 unit of wool can only be used in 1 building. Exactly right. Yep. So if there was, you can see we've got a bit of livestock in through here. Wool is different again. We've got some fur over there, but that can only be used once, including in its own province. And the other thing that then comes back with this one, which then makes it fairly interesting, is if you're competing for trade goods around the place, and you need something that somebody else has got, this is where your trade range comes in. So to enable the range between different areas. So we should have a bit further trade range than others. So we do actually have a trade range will extend out. I don't know if it'll show it there, but it does allow us to essentially pull in goods from a fair distance at 5. Typically 3 or 4 might be what you have, sometimes even only 2. The trade acumen determines how successful your merchants are. The higher it is, the easier it will be to secure deals. So in this case, we end up like a trade acumen of 4 is good, which means we should be able to dominate the trade and bring the trade back into Stockholm or wherever it might be. And then the commerce, through here, the commerce modifier is a percentage value that will raise or lower all possible source of money income with the exception of taxes. So there's different things that do happen in through there. So yeah, the trade is very, very important, and it's certainly streamlined from what it used to be. Okay, another progress token, administrative bonus showing signs of organised stewardship is increasing our authority. We've got a +1 there, that's good. I've received a new regional decision, so draft levies. Probably don't need that one. I'm not going to worry about those, but if we do need to quickly raise an army, we could do that. The armies of Västergotland are now joining up with the Liege Sweden against Estonia. So Västergotland is now going to be moving its troops across to help us. I think we'll just go on the warpath even with just what we've got. So that one's actually good. And then the honour bound by their treaty with the Liege Upland is also helping us as well. So they'll start to raise armies. Let's just go and have a bit of a look. Oops, not that one. At the actual army itself. And so if we go to the second Swedish army, in this case, what we end up picking up was a couple more standing army units. We've got the early offensive spearmen. These are very important. Offensive spearmen can charge into battle, and these are rare. You pretty much only get these in the Norse area. These are very, very good spearmen. The spearmen are naturally defensive, but these are offensive as well, and so they've got a good combat power. We picked up a couple of berserkers as well, so these are fairly cool as well. If we just press control, we can then sort of see what they've got. So yeah, money and metal and manpower upkeep is up there. It's not really affecting us too much because we sort of brought them in. We do actually have, I forget where it shows up. We have an ability to, before it really starts to impact us too much, but then once we bring even bigger armies, it can then be more. We'll just go and merge that one with the main army. So we now actually have a pretty damn good army, actually. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. This is my offensive, brother. So if he's on the offense, so I think we send them over. I think we send them over. We've only got 2 defensive units there, 2 defensive units there. Let's get rid of. Let's go back to political view. Political overlay. There we go. It's just going to tell us, who we're at war with. So we've got a. I can send them, through the oceans this way. So 1 turn into the coastline, 2 into the actual Baltic Sea, and then across into here. Which I don't know if that's realistic, but anyway, that's okay. Just in terms of time, I mean, it's sort of it's abstracting this a bit. If it's 6 months turns, then it's not going to take them 2 years to get there. Maybe it's sort of pretending as if it's sort of just a bit of a build up. Okay, so we've got the. This one's got 18 defensive units. So we'll be wanting to get a foothold in here. So let's go across and build and take on one of these low level areas first. So we'll move into here now. We've got to be careful we don't get it. We need to make sure that we do the attacking with this brother. We can't have him defending because he's got 0 defensive abilities. So either one of these, I think. That one's got 3 defensive units. Let's go there. So they're going to march off. And that will do us. We can't really sort of tell these armies what to do. They're just going to do their own thing. There is a way to half control them if you, depending on your abilities, but we don't have the ability to do anything with those. All right, so that's all we can really do at this stage. So we've got these ones moving off to do the invasion with their longboats. Some factions can't do this at the start, but we can. Now, if they send a force our way, that could be fairly dangerous. What are we seeing up there? Just let the turns progress. We can always turn them back if we need to. Michael's saying, hello Daz. So I thought this was going to be a Dom 6 stream today. It was until I saw that this game had been updated overnight, or like yesterday basically. Next week I'm going to be playing a lot of Warhammer stuff because of the Skulls event, and definitely Dom 6 with the Warhammer mod. I'll be covering that in a lot of detail. So yeah, rest assured. I did say yesterday that I was going to do it today, but then because this one updated, I did want to get this one out there as well. So that's so I definitely will be coming back. I really am looking for. I actually got up thinking I'm going to be playing that Warhammer game today, and then I thought I'll do this one here on YouTube rather than on Twitch, for the simple reason that these videos stick around a little bit, and so it may be helpful if someone's trying to figure out if they want to buy kingdoms or not. I will be doing shorter videos that are more curated as to the mechanics of the game, but with these live streams, these are more like question and answer type things. We've got the administrative example of Neric. By showing signs of organised stewardship is increasing our own authorities. We get a +1 bonus there. That's good. And then we have, you received a non-regional decision, so recruit non-standard units. Great. So that's another one where we can now keep on building things up. I think if we see the enemy on the march, we will then do something about that. But we're not seeing anything just yet. We should see it once we actually hit the Baltic Sea, I would think. All right. Have a quick look at the decisions again. We've got 7 decisions now. So form vassal. I'm not going to use this. So I'm going to go and sell it. It says once sold, a decision can't be brought back, but you do. It just goes back into the deck. Investment trial. I'll keep that one. Draft levies. Out of siege. Yeah, these are all things I do want them. I've only got 7. Yeah, I'm not going to be using this one. So control right click. and we just sell it, and we just get a little bit of money back that way. Money and manpower. Should quite like just the base map. It does look nice, doesn't it? Let's just leave it there. There's nothing else we need to do this turn. So we're still waiting for everything to be built. We're getting little sort of bonus things happening. It's just processing the turn. It will then move the armies during these turns. So we're seeing a bit more. The authority in the top corner here, you can see it's now 20 with +2. It's got authority 19 from the previous turn with a +2 coming through. If we're in the green areas, it means that we've got the chance to get a progress token. So we want to stay up in that area if we can. If we go into the white, it means that our progress amount is too low. And see, this is everyone else's authority. Or if you end up being with very, very low authority, so if you spend too much of it, you'll end up down the bottom here, which then means you can sort of get these negative, like the aging tokens. So you do have to be careful. It's funny, I thought I saw one. Yeah, we've got a few that have got into the middle area that have got aging tokens. I keep on feeling like I just skipped past something. I think it's just a trick of the eye, because you shouldn't be able to have progress tokens and aging tokens at the same time. ZXM is saying starting on the edge of the map seems like it have advantages in this game. Yeah, to a degree, I think, like just because you can't then be attacked from different angles, but it doesn't matter much in that sort of sense. Let's go back out. A civil war has erupted. Oh no. Okay, so now we've got big problems. I didn't check to see my loyalty. There was a loyalty problem up here, and I didn't have a look at it. All right, so we've now got civil war, which is not good. So this has actually come about. So Goodman in the Baltic Sea is revolting with his army against... Oh, my God. So he's actually taken... So our brother has now taken the army, and there's only 6 units there, though, to the now Norse rebels. All right, so what do we have? Hagen has a loyalty of 73 and can make a coup. We have to be careful here. So Goodman has actually decided to take the army and run. So that's the problem. That was our best general. Received a new regional decision, so grant land. Yeah, we can get a baron in. That's going to cost us money, but it does help protect things a little bit. I won't worry about that one just yet. Edmund the Old met with Lord Halder, who pledged allegiance to the ruler. So this is actually where the civil war is now breaking out. So a bit of a look and see the ownership. So yeah, we're still in control of Sweden itself. We just don't have an army anymore. Edmund the Old met with Lord Ollie, who pledged allegiance as well. All right, wow. And they're back to just their stock standards. So the raw offensive spearmen and the light archers. Right, we now need to raise an army to defend. Now they're going to be coming straight from back in here, I would imagine, and then trying to hit one of these territories. So we are going to have to start raising something. Okay, so we've now got problems. Got 600. We need to have before we can bring a mercenary in, we have to. I don't think we can start off with a mercenary. I think we have to start off with another. Actually, maybe we can. Oh, I can. Yeah, I can bring these in next turn. These are going to cost me 30 per turn. So we'll grab those. I'm just thinking we're going to have spearmen. We're going to have to fight with spearmen. I'll get a couple more of those. That's going to be another 3 turns before we get the second one of those. Then we've got the raw spearmen back into here as well. So I'll start to bring these levies up. Actually, I might ditch that one. Just go back to our decisions. Draft levies. Yeah, we need to have at least an army to start with before we can do anything with these. We need a general. All right, so we should be able to raise this army relatively quickly. So I think we'll start there, and then we'll start to just use the regional decisions to then raise an army faster than the rebels. Well, that was a shock. Not seeing the rebels anymore. Still doing okay. And so the legacy rankings, this is again where, like in empires, it was very, very confusing with your, you had a culture and decadence that was that really only controlled this back over through here, which was super important. You still had legacy, which is sort of like your score. I would ignore your legacy when you're playing, but it does sort of set who's winning and who's losing the game. So we're a long, long way off with our legacy. So legacy is something that's you don't really have to focus on it anywhere near as much as what you did in empires. But culture and decadence in empires was fairly confusing. This one here, it all just comes down to how much authority you have accrued, and so how strongly you are controlling what you're doing, and so authority plays a role everywhere through the game, which is actually really, really cool. It does so much. Eric is saying, is there naval warfare? Yes, there is. It's you can't play that in Field of Glory 2 Medieval, but you can play it within the game. So there's a few things that you can't take out into the other system. Naval warfare is one of those. Got rain and stuff. We're not seeing the rebels anywhere. And we now actually have the Swedish army. So we've now picked up this one, which is now this is mercenary cavalry back in through this other side, and then we actually just have the early archers. Now we need to get another commander in here. No, actually we've got Haldor. He's valiant. We don't know what his loyalty's like. This is the trouble. Actually, our son has got great offensive ratings and defensive ratings. He's a spendthrift though. So unit upkeep increased by plus 20%, unfortunately. Let's just go and put him in charge. Just watch the manpower, the money. Yeah, that should be okay. So he's now come of age. He's now 17. So he's going to have to go up after our brother. So I think if we have a look at the groupings, I forget who it was. He was one of these guys. I'm pretty sure it was our brother that we put in charge of the army. So he's now gone. Prospect for resources. This would be good. I think we might do that one as well. Let's go into prospect for resources. So region has still some untapped potential, and resources yet to be discovered may abound. If we only prospect the land entirely, so depending on the terrain, we might find a new place to exploit. So it must be owned. Now the terrain that we're looking for would probably be more mountainous, but we've only got flat areas that we can really sort of go and check. So it's essentially plains, forests. Yeah, so region must be owned. Depending on the terrain, we might find a new place to exploit. God, where do we do it? Let's try it in here. I forget, we had one location that was, I'll just try it there, which is going to be fairly central. So hopefully we find something in there. These regional decisions are so important. Got that one. Yeah, so for now, Care of Upland did not feel it was safe or necessary to send troops under your direct command. So we can't command those just yet. They're not allowing that. Yeah, we can't change where they're going. Yeah, no, we can't do anything with those. Nope, that's fine. All right, need to keep on building up this army. So we'll grab that one there. Yep, that's fine. So that's where the two different decisions will then come in. All right, so nothing much else we can do in this instance. We will have to keep on building up these forces. If you just go back into here, what else can we build in this location? Mercenary spearmen. Again, it's very expensive for these. We are going to need some of these raw troops as well. I would have loved the Huskars. Let's just grab a couple of these, just so that we can start to just pick up a little bit of these levies, just so we've got them there. All right, that's good. So Thor is saying, I have Field of Glory 2, but none of the DLCs. Do I need to get any of to get the full experience when using that game or doing Kingdoms battles? You shouldn't do, no. It's they try to make it so that you can play it in the base games. So if you don't have the DLCs, then don't worry about it. Like you should be fine. From memory, the DLCs tend to be eras, and this will be played out before the other, like the High Middle Ages kicks in. So I think that's sort of how they operate with it. So you should be fine. You've exceeded all bounds of reason, thus we find it necessary to unite with Sumai to ensure your defeat. Okay, so those pagan tribes are now collecting themselves together. We'll just keep on moving through. This is a harsh season. Okay, so they've come in. Oh, I should have shown that. They had a little star, which meant that they were high quality, but because they've now merged in with this army, they've lost that experience. So we'll have to sort of start with them again. So we do need to get more of the the early archers as well. Let's go and levy some more of those. We can see their money's now starting to drop. Manpower is still okay. Our metal production has gone backwards a little bit. So you'd be better off doing this. Okay, our son is born. That's good. Yep, so we've now got those as well going to war with us. They're going to put pressure on our ally back over here. So what have they got? We can sort of see at least what they're bringing. They're bringing mercenary tribesmen, defensive spearmen. They don't have the same ability that we've got, plus some early archers. So I think we're going to be okay with this if we just keep on going the way we're going. Let's have a look at our regional decisions again. I'm going to recruit another non-standard back in there. we're still okay with all of the actual resources, and it is important that we actually look at those. And then we've just got this group just sitting back in through here. Yeah, we're going to get more berserkers. Yep, this is all okay. This is fine. Yeah, we've got a fair few standing armies now. So we'll just get going. Merchants of Vasterus complain about extorting by the peer of the realm in charge. Yeah, that's okay. You've received a new send counsellor. Actually, what does that one do? You'll send one of your advisors or his spy to assist a peer of the realm in charge of one of your domain provinces. This will boost his loyalty and might even... okay, let's go and do that. Because we actually have... if we've got Hagen... in Stockholm, we don't want him rebelling. So let's go and send the that counsellor out just to assist him as well. Yeah, so 2 decisions there now. Upland is now fighting alongside their liege Sweden against the bellicose Suomi. Yep, and they are as well. That's good. I don't know where our brother is, the one that rebelled. Not seeing anything else that we have to concern ourselves with. It's the Skane fleet. That should be okay. So we'll just get this army together, then we'll go on the offence. Oh, very harsh season. So these spearmen are just slowly making their way through the forests. Yeah, look at Man in the Isles. It's improving. Oh, okay, we've degraded to average health. We're starting to now get some buildings done. The charcoal burner has been completed in Gotland. Did we pick up anything here? Nope. And wood cutting has now been completed in through this way as well. So we're going to start to see some other improvements sort of happening over time. This one here is still going to take 2 turns to get to this part of the army. So it does take a long time to walk through these territories. One thing we can have a bit of a look at is just how, like, this is the movement overlay. So we can sort of see there, because this is all forested, it's fairly hard for us to move through. We're pretty good in these regions. I might avoid the open sea and just go along the coast. Although it is faster, isn't it? Okay, Holy Procession. What does that one do? Yeah, I won't worry about it, but we've still only got 6 of 16 that we've got there. That one's okay. And we are now certain that Hagen Stockholm is a faithful peer of the realm after the visit of one of our highest ranking nobles. There we go. So he's actually now, we no longer have that issue with lack of loyalty from Hagen. Small harbour has now been completed in Stockholm, so we've completed a lot of the actual building. That actually happened pretty quickly, actually. So that was good. So let's go and have a bit of a look and see what we can do now. Well, we need to get these forts. Not sure how we get them, actually. This is where there's not a real lot of information about how to break through into these different areas. There's a reinforced palisade. what we need, isn't it? If we right click on it, what does it tell us? Yeah, so it doesn't really supply anything to us. It doesn't get us what we want. It's not showing us up. Just close it for a second. There we go. Yeah, it's not going to help us there either. Okay, now I'm not sure how we move through the levels to get to that other building. Yeah, I'm unsure of the process with that one. Anyway, let's just go back through. Just keep on building different things. This one here, we get basic food. We get a health bonus with the well, the bakery. Now we do actually have flax. If we have a bit of a look again at the trade goods. So there must be flax grown somewhere. I'm not seeing it there. Well, that's a fairly good one actually. It's a fairly good one for us. So I think I might just go and grab that one. Craftsman's Burrow is usually pretty good. Anchorage in there we don't need. Spearmaker. The Village Green is where we're going to get food and money, plus regional loyalty. Might throw that one in there. Business Roundup we don't need. Local markets. We don't get much from that one because we don't have much there. I'll leave that one alone. That's the iron ore. This one does give us 2 more metal. That will become important as we do other things. Tannery gives us good money. We do have wild beasts around here from there. So that's the bonuses we pick up because it's in the neighbouring territory. Yeah, I think we maybe go that way with the tannery. Let's just go and do that one. Just pick up more money. I'm still building the farm. I'm still building the stonemason. And that one's finished. Herbalist. Local watch. This hamlet will start the fortification of a region. As a few inhabitants have some experience in defensive works, it's still possible bandits can be attracted though. I might throw that one in there actually, just to get the fortified settlement. Let's go and throw that one in. Okay, so that's all we can really do at this stage. Yeah, see how these have got experience. If I press Control, so these have got a 19 of 30 experience, and so they're at level 1 at this point in time, but they're moving through their experience. If we now go and merge that, because we're now going to change the ownership of this particular group, if we just go and merge that one with the Swedish Army, actually they've still kept it, actually, which is cool, unless these are the previous ones. No, that's still 19 of 13. The other ones before didn't get to keep it, but we've got like a reasonable army here now. I think I'll just wait for this group to arrive, and then we'll head off again across the. How long is it going to take? It's going to take 1, 2, 3. I can get there pretty quickly, but I think I'll stay in the coastal areas. So even if it takes an extra bit of spot, we'll just stay away from the open water. Yeah, I'm not sure if we... I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll just let it go anyway. So these guys are just slogging their way through the forest, like the one on the left-hand side there. And we'll wait for them. So we're still doing okay with our money, manpower and metal. Yeah, Sutter is saying none of the pagan nations is playable at the moment. I don't know if they will be either, actually. I'm not sure what the plan is for those. It'd be cool if they were playable. As you can see, they're still actually part of the action. So this will be coming in next turn. I can just tell these guys to go straight into the actual army. So that will be targeting the Sweden army. They'll just go and join up with the army. Forage the land. Yeah, we won't worry about that one. All right. That's all done. Hamlet has been finished. Protected settlement. We'll grab that as well. Yeah, so I won't worry about any of these just yet. The Freeman cottages, money's going to go backwards a little bit. We will get a bit more manpower. I think I'll still grab it at this point in time. That's good. The exchange post. So we get some more money that way. Cauldron maker. Now this one requires copper and tin, which is not going to be helpful. I might produce grain. Yep, that's all good. Okay, and our turn again. So the turns themselves play out pretty quickly. So W Slayer is in saying, about how many hours do you think you have in this game so far? I've been in the beta, so I'm not sure. I try not to play too much of betas unless they're really close to being finished, like now with this game, because I find that I get not bored with the game, but I get jaded by it, by the process. I don't mind being in betas, but it's sort of, I know it impacts the way we're getting close to going up another level. But yeah, it's sort of, so I tend to only play a small amount in the early parts of betas, just get a bit of a feel, just give a little bit of feedback, but not too much. So yeah, I'd say maybe 20 hours, somewhere in around there, I would guess, overall. So not a hell of a lot for a game like this. Okay, so several science cells in the next few months are going to be picked with cars from men and crops. New regional, so build harbour. Okay, that's cool. We can actually go and improve Stockholm. And so in this case, we'll add an anchorage if you have nothing, or improve to a tier 1 harbour in a region of your choice. Now we already have, if we just go back out of this one, if we have a look at Stockholm, we already have a small harbour there. So that one should then give us even more. So that's going to improve that one. I think that's how it will work. Build harbour. We'll improve a tier 1 harbour. Yeah, let's just go and do it. So will cost will be deducted once it triggers. So 100 money will then come out. That's okay. This will be worth getting. And yeah, we're now at 4 progress tokens. So we're sort of heading towards in the right direction. We have a lot of authority. Right, so let's get these guys out and about. Let's get them up to here. You can see that once we get them into the ocean, we can then start to move fairly effectively. So let's go and move to there in 2 turns. This time our son will be leading. So he's actually the best general we've got by a long way. You can see the experience is now coming up through here as well. Like these guys are now getting more experience as well, these different berserkers and things. So it's a pretty bad in terms of support units, to be honest. I might go and build more supports. Oh, here we go. We can now start to bring the various ships. So go and left click. So this one is a raider. Pillagers plus 200 effectiveness in raids. Permanent raider. And this one here is also a raider as well. So these are 2 different types of ships. But this one's got 17 power. This one's only got 5. So these are more powerful ships. They do cost me a little bit of gold upkeep. And it is a standing army unit. We can only have 8, so it won't get the long boots at all. This is not a standing unit. If I was going to get a fleet just to sort of operate, yeah, might have to be a little bit careful there. Yeah, I've got 50 there. I do want to get another 2 of these. All right, we'll just have that come and follow up with the army. Okay, so we're embarking. Didn't make it to the 5th. Fight the plague. Okay, so if plague does come, all right. So now we actually have a much better harbour here. So we now actually have a medium harbour, level 2. Picking up a bit of money from this one. Now we can get medium war galleys as well with this one. So if we go back and have another look at the at what we can build, just regionally. There it is. Medium round ship. So there's another standing army unit. So 5 attacks, defense. What's this one other one's got? So it's about the same. These are a bit weaker. Yeah, I'm not seeing any difference there at all actually between those two bigger ships. But anyway, that still just opens things up for us. Okay, so things are developing quite nicely. If we go and grab the army, it's got to there. Now, if I keep on right-clicking, it's going to take me... Oh, it's now a harsh season, which is slowing us right down. Let's just continue clicking this one around. We're at war with them. No. We're at war with them? No, we're not, actually. I think I'll get it to go this way, so I'll just get it to move into there over time. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I can just right click just to get rid of that one. So we'll end up sort of invading this area. Nothing else built, that's okay. End our turn again. This may speed up again now, the army. Try to get a battle going. We offer a prominent vassal a position as close advisor. New decision. This is decisions up and through here. So these are different to our other decisions. Magnus has grown in stature. Might be wise to invite him to come regularly. Yeah, let's go and do that one. So let's offer him a post as a high official and trusted advisor. Let's do it. So that one has been done. I'll just double check. Yep, that's been set. So that will just sort of happen automatically. That's a different sort of decision instead of just the regional decisions. So we've got a few things there. We might start to sell some of those off fairly soonish, I guess. And we have this group. Now we can get there in one turn because it's now a fair season. Take them a bit longer. Let's just move them across. That's going to save us a bit of time. The ship has moved in fairly fast. Yeah, we're still not getting up to the next level. We'll get there eventually. Okay, drums of war sound. There's Norway declares open hostility to Sweden. Damn it. God, it's making it hard. And they're actually close to home. to rely on my allies to protect the homeland while we try to finish off this war. Leave that one where that is. What I might do with this one is just tell this one to go and meet up with that army, so targeting the fleet. He will then just come back in and end up sort of becoming part of the same fleet. Invitation Court. Magnus of Vassagotland has been a disappointment as a minister, having lost a fair sum of gold. Relations between us have suffered as a result, and he has been dismissed as advisor. That's not good. Whoops. What happened there? Oh, we just had a crash, did we? Hang on, let me try to get it. No, I might have just misclicked. No, that's okay. Restore order, that's okay. I think we're all okay. Vassals have been called upon by both Norway and Sweden. Son is joining up with the main army. Okay, all right. Geez. We'll see how we go. God, there's a lot of activity going on. I do have to start to wind up, so I'll just quickly do these. This location. Timber wall. So we've now got the stronghold site. Can we build? I still can't do that one there. All right. Yeah, so we can see that we're out of supply. This army is suffering a lot. And so we are going to be suffering. Yeah, it's difficult to do these. Well, let's take one of these anyway. So we're out of supply. In here, I should actually have checked the supply bonuses. So Cogno is saying, what units of Berserk has been converted into in Field of Glory 2 Medieval? I think that'd still be just Berserkers. I'm pretty sure that I've seen Berserkers in Fog Medieval. Yeah, they're losing a bit of effectiveness. Let's just land and let's get sort of started. If we have a bit of a look at the supply, yeah, supply is not good there. Okay, we're now poor health. I'll just keep on ending the turn. There we go. So this is a tiny little battle. I might just show you the process because I do have to get going. So we'll export the battle out. I can either just view the battle or export the battle. If I export the battle, I can still come back to this if I'm wanting to. So I'll just go and do an export. So this is essentially just going to be a quick combat. So it's now being exported out to Field of Glory 2 Medieval. So exit this one, yes, we do want to do that. That will then just end up loading up Field of Glory 2 Medieval. So the process is we then just go and play it. Battles, Kingdoms Battle. So we bring the Kingdoms Battle in. Now this is going to be they're going to be absolutely decimated by us. So this is going to be extremely one-sided, but we can have a look to see to make sure that there is Berserkers there. I'm pretty sure that the berserkers will just be berserkers. And the number of the troops that comes in is sort of like dependent a lot on the quality of the troops that you've got, things like that. So it's not the same numbers, but it represents it's pretty good with the representation. Right, so we'll just go and close that one off. Can add 2 more generals because our leader is like their son is such a good leader. So there's a sub-general there, Eric Gillison. We should actually have, our leader should be with the cavalry. Yep, so Gear in through here, our son, is in charge of the Swedish mercenary cavalry. We've got other berserkers. Yeah, so the berserkers are there. That's the only cavalry we've got, just that one group of cavalry. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and I'll add 1 general to that group and another general to this group. And I think I'll just leave it like this. This is, you know, reasonably strong. I might bring them out to the flank. We'll end our turn. Yes, I won't set them up too much. Yes, hardly anything you have to worry about. So these are just peasants, really. That's their commander-in-chief, peasant militia. Not a worry. Do us. This will be extremely one-sided. Got to move this one up. Knights across. So a bit different to Crusader Kings when you play it this way anyway. Now, this is an absolute stomp on this one here. Hi David, how are you going? Saying I love this one, waiting like crazy for it. It's very, very good. It's very good. We'll start to soften them up with the skirmishers. That one's okay. There may be units hidden in the forest, but I don't think so. So I'll just bring all of these to bear. Come. We might be able to just even defeat them with these archers. Yep, it's disrupted already. Our berserkers. Try to get flanking shots on these guys. Bring these up as well. this in. Right. And I'll replay the battle in terms of what's happening with these. So the Berserkers will then go in. They'll do massive damage here. If before we do it, let's just soften them up. Away a little bit. That's auto broken, so they're gone. The Berserkers. These ones did actually manage to hold firm. Can't attack just yet. Yeah, these are dead. Lost hub. So it was a pretty quick and easy battle. I then just close it. End of the battle. Do you want to close Fog 2 Medieval and launch Kingdoms? Yes, we do. And so I can then bring back the save game. So it actually saves the whole, like everything that came through. So if we had have suffered any losses, that's all recorded and brought back in as well. So it sort of keeps up with the results of the actual battle. If our son died in the battle, that would be reflected in the game when it comes back in again. So if I come back in and I think it just goes to load. Actually, it's not got it there. It normally comes back in. Let's go back out again because it's normally at the top of the screen. So just let me. Just bear with me. This version may be a bit broken in that regard. Yeah, so we're back in here again. I'll just exit back out again. Not finding it there. It's normally up here on this screen. Just exit the game again and just restart it. Not sure why it wouldn't be there. Hi Leia, how you going? Hate turn-based with 10 plus units because it's so tedious. Yeah, hope they can auto like Age of Wonders. There is, well, I'll show you the other way of playing it. For whatever reason, it's not showing the imports, which is usually here up in the screen. So I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, it's not doing it. That's weird. So there's a bit of a bug there. Yeah, there's usually a number of buttons at the top. There has been up until now anyway. So let's go and view the battle. So in this case, the exporting the battle it didn't happen essentially. So we'll just go and view the battle. And so this is it's a very simple system. So this is a fast way. Again, same number of units, everything going on. They've still just got their peasant militia. We've got our spearmen in the middle, berserkers on the side, cavalry on the outside edge. So the first round is just a ranged combat. So our archers will then just fire. Now that actually took out a lot of their hit points and effectiveness. So these guys are really screwed. So now when we open up, we then actually have the peasant militia. We have die rolls. He gets 2 extra die rolls because of his 2 attacking. And so in this case, these aren't going to be able to win this one really. So we take the best die roll, add it to their combat rating, and so that was 15. That then wiped that one out. The next one should do the same as well. They've only got a combat effectiveness of 1. Yes, we absolutely dominated that. So we destroyed them completely. Done, and that's it. So the battles in the game are very, very quick and easy. That's actually playing the same battle that we just played out before. Alright, so now this is the supply. Now, unfortunately, we're not seeing much in terms of the combat. I would have liked a bigger combat. But I'm actually happy that the whole of the northern area ended up in sort of like a major war. It would have been fun to go up against Norway, actually. Yep, so yeah, lack of supply is a problem for us. Should be able to live off the land. These guys are still, like, you know, they're a bit ragged with everything that's been going on. So food usage is 8, so unsupplied last turn. So it becomes a bit of a problem. So we need to make sure that we get the supply that we require. Not sure where we see that. It's in here somewhere. The food maybe. Yeah, so I think we'll be okay if we stay here for a turn. But anyway, that's the... I'm going to have to leave it here, guys. So I'm going to have to get going. But that's Field of Glory Kingdoms, essentially. I don't know why we couldn't import that thing back in. That looks to be a bit of a bug. Still a couple of weeks away with everything that's going on. When we take over a province, we then actually have, you know, other penalties that do come in. Yeah, there's other claims that were actually on this particular area. But it's a really, really cool game, ultimately, like, you know, with what it actually does do. So, yeah, look out for it. It's just a couple of weeks, and then it will be available. It's a heaps better than Empires was, like heaps better. But I will actually leave it there. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.